Chapter 140. The porridge was extremely fragrant and the side dishes were refreshing. Ling Xiao ate comfortably as a warm current flowed through his body. Ren Qinglue watched Ling Xiao eat. Her eyelashes flickered, revealing a gentle glow. Just like a wife serving her husband? Ren Qinglue was startled by this thought in her heart, and her beautiful face was covered with a layer of red. You are also ate happily. The small courtyard was filled with a warm atmosphere. However, this warmth didn't last long. Bang! The door to the courtyard was pushed open, and old Wu and the others walked in. They were all dressed in black, and they had weapons in their hands. Their expressions were grave. Brother Ling Xiao, the people from Huwei Martial Arts School have surrounded the Sky Escort Agency. Wang Hu and the young Grandmaster are here. Old Wu's voice was filled with anger and killing intent. His aura surged as if he was going to kill someone at any time. Ren Qinglue and Yu Er's faces turned pale instantly, especially the words young Grandmaster. It was a nightmare for them. They would never forget that the powerful Ren Tianqing couldn't even withstand a single blow from the young Grandmaster. They're all here? Very good. I don't have to look for them anymore. Let them stay. Ling Xiao said calmly as he stood up. There was a sharp glow in his eyes, and his body exuded a powerful and domineering aura. Young Master Ling is right. Today, we'll make those bastards pay with their blood. They'll pay with their blood. Old Wu and the others looked excited as they escorted Ling Xiao out of the escort agency. Ren Qinglue and Yu Er were also affected by Ling Xiao's words. The paleness on their faces faded, and an inexplicable confidence rose in their hearts. They followed closely behind. Outside the Sky Escort Agency, Ren Tianqing's face was thin, and his eyes were burning. He held a heavy sword in his hand as he looked at the group of white-robed men opposite him. Although he had just recovered from his injuries, and his cultivation hadn't fully recovered, Ren Tianqing stood there with an imposing aura. None of the white-robed men dared to take a step forward. Ren Tianqing, you've recovered from your injuries? The white-robed men separated, and a young man wearing a brocade robe walked out. He was tall and slender, and his face was handsome. However, his lips were very thin, and he looked a bit mean. His eyes flashed with a cold light. He raised his chin slightly, and looked at Ren Tianqing indifferently with a condescending arrogance. Beside him was a burly man in a black robe. He was tall and sturdy, with a fierce face and a flattering smile on his face. The black-robed man was Wang Hu, and the brocade-robed young man was the young Grandmaster that old Wu and the others had mentioned. The young master looked at Ren Tianqing with a hint of surprise in his eyes. 3 days ago, he had severely injured Ren Tianqing with a single palm strike. Naturally, he knew how terrifying his Yin Tru Qi was. Originally, he thought that even if Ren Tianqing didn't die, he would be on the verge of death. But to their surprise, other than looking a little weak, Ren Tianqing's injuries had already healed. Ren Tianqing, have you made up your mind? If you give your beautiful daughters to young Master Snake and kneel down before the judge, then the Heavenly Escort Agency can still be saved. Otherwise, I'll make sure you die without a burial ground. Wang Hu stared at Ren Tianqing with murderous intent in his eyes. His voice was very cold. Dream on, Ren Tianqing sneered and said. Wang Hu, I didn't expect that after not seeing you for a few years, you've learned to be someone's dog. Even if the entire Heaven Escort Agency dies today, I'll make you pay an unimaginable price. Wang Hu's eyes turned cold, and he said coldly, Old dog Ren, you still dare to be so stubborn? Let me tell you, even if young Master Snake doesn't do anything, I can still kill you. You killed my brother, so I'll take your life today. I'll use your dog life as a sacrifice to my brother's soul in heaven. Wang Hu unsheathed the black battle saber in his hand, and his entire body exuded a violent murderous aura. Although Wang Hu's cultivation was only at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm, he could feel that Ren Tianqing's aura was very weak. Even if his injuries were healed, he wouldn't be able to use much of his strength. Therefore, a surge of confidence welled up in his heart, and he wanted to fight with Ren Tianqing. With just you. Ren Tianqing sneered and said, Back then, you were reprimanded by the city bishop for molesting a good woman. That was why you left Qinghua City, like a stray dog. Even if you become someone's dog, you're still just a dog. Even if my cultivation hasn't recovered, It's still easy to kill you. Ren Tianqing saw through Wang Hu's plan. Wang Hu thought that since his cultivation hadn't recovered, he wanted to use him to establish his authority. However, he was afraid that Wang Hu had miscalculated. Old dog Ren, you're courting death. Wang Hu seemed to have been caught in a sore spot, and his eyes instantly became extremely gloomy. He roared, and a powerful innate qi erupted from his body. The battle saber in his hand cut through the void like lightning, and slashed toward Ren Tianqing's head. Roar! When the saber fell, it was like a ferocious tiger's roar that shook the forest. An extremely powerful and domineering aura burst out, and the shadow of a ferocious tiger faintly formed behind Wang Hu. Ren Tianqing's eyes flashed, and a hint of seriousness appeared in them. He could feel that Wang Hu's saber technique was not ordinary. It had surpassed the black-level martial arts and reached the power of a low-grade earth-level martial arts. The ferocious and monstrous aura rushed toward him, as if a tyrant tiger that could subdue 10,000 beasts and roar the forest was pouncing toward him. Thousand mountains break. Ren Tianqing didn't dare to be negligent. He slowly raised the heavy sword in his hand, and an unparalleled sharp sword intent spread out, and a dazzling sword aura flashed faintly. The black heavy sword was wrapped in a powerful innate qi, and it swept across the sky as if it was going to cut through 1,000 mountains and destroy 10,000 soldiers with a single sword. Boom! The saber and the sword clashed, and a bright light burst out. Ren Tianqing's blazing true qi suppressed Wang Hu as if he could hold up the world. Wang Hu felt his blood and qi surging, and the tyrant tiger saber qi was instantly shattered. He took more than 10 steps back before he could stabilize himself. How is this possible? Wang Hu's expression changed. Wasn't Ren Tianqing seriously injured? How could he still burst out such a terrifying power? A hint of surprise flashed in the indifferent young guru's eyes. He originally thought that it would be amazing if Ren Tianqing could recover 1/10 of his strength. However, Ren Tianqing's attack actually contained 70 to 80% of the strength of a guru? Who was it that secretly cured Ren Tianqing? The young guru's eyes flashed with a hint of coldness. Wang Hu, the power of a guru is not something you can imagine. People like you who are used to being a dog will never be able to comprehend the connection between heaven and man, and enter the guru realm. Die. Ren Tianqing sneered, and a trace of burning killing intent appeared in his eyes. Ren Tianqing knew that he was no match for the young guru, but it would be worth it if he could kill Wang Hu. Chapter 141. 10,000 Waves. Powerful spiritual qi surged like waves. It was endless and turned into blazing sword light. As Ren Tianqing's sword fell, it surged toward Wang Hu. I don't believe it. Tyrannical tiger saber technique. Tyrannical tiger is invincible. Kill him. Wang Hu's expression was extremely ferocious. He roared as the saber in his hand emitted a bright light. The shadow of a fierce tiger appeared behind him. It was more solid than before. Wang Hu slashed down with Ren Tianqing's endless sword aura. The sword aura was like a sea. The tiger condensed from the saber aura rushed into the sea of sword aura. The void shook, and a roar shook the sky. In the end, the tiger was pierced by hundreds of millions of sword aura, and turned into nothingness. Boom! A powerful sword aura hit Wang Hu's chest. Wang Hu spat out a mouthful of blood. He flew backward for more than 100 feet, and smashed hard on the ground. Kill! Ren Tianqing roared and slashed at Wang Hu with his sword. How dare you kill in front of me? You're courting death. The young master shouted coldly. A trace of cold murderous intent appeared in his eyes. He slammed his palm. Boom! Black divine light surged, and a strange black creature seemed to form behind the young master's back. The creature charged at Ren Tianqing along with the palm. Ren Tianqing's expression changed. He felt an extremely dangerous fluctuation. He couldn't care less about killing Wang Hu. His sword changed and stabbed toward the divine light. Boom! Ren Tianqing's sword aura was destroyed in an instant. The young master's palm covered the sky like a black curtain. It was domineering and cold. It hit the heavy sword directly. Ren Tianqing felt a sweet taste in his throat. He spat out a mouthful of blood and flew backward. However, the young grandmaster did not intend to let Ren Tianqing go just like that. Black divine light surged, carrying a kind of cold and evil wave, and crashed toward Ren Tianqing. Head escort. Save the head escort. Kill the bastards from the Huawei escort agency. Many escorts of the Skywalker escort agency turned pale with fright. One after another, they drew their swords and attacked the people of the Huawei escort agency. However, the black divine light had already blasted over. It contained a cold killing intent, and it wanted to kill Ren Tianxing. In the face of this terrifying power, a trace of bitterness appeared on the corners of Ren Tianxing's mouth. A feeling of powerlessness surged out from his heart. He slowly closed his eyes and waited for death. Whoosh! Just then, a blazing sword radiance swept across the sky. It was as brilliant as the sun in the sky, emitting an infinite amount of light. No one could describe the style of that sword, and no one could see the speed of that sword. Everyone only saw a dazzling white light filling the world. The sword intent rose and condensed. It was like a god of the sword, a sword that no longer belonged to the mortal world. The cold and evil black divine light was torn apart in an instant. It traversed through the void and headed straight for the young grandmaster. Who is it? The young master's expression changed, and a terrifying aura filled the air. The black divine light behind him surged again, vaguely turning into a giant snake that could devour the heavens and the earth. It suddenly collided with the sword light. Boom! Intense divine light swept in all directions, and the void trembled slightly. The young grandmaster's body trembled, and he took 2 steps back. His expression was extremely unpleasant. He focused his gaze and saw a young man in white walking out of the Heaven Escort Agency. The young man was slender, and his face was as clear as jade. His black hair fell down casually, and he looked very casual and unruly. His eyes were as bright as the stars, and there was a faint smile on his lips. Behind the young man was a pair of beautiful young girls, and a group of escorts in black robes with weapons in their hands. Their faces were ferocious. Who are you? How dare you interfere in my business? The young grandmaster looked at Ling Xiao coldly, and there was a trace of seriousness and shock in his eyes. The sword light just now was released by the young man in front of him. The young man's cultivation level was displayed in front of him without any concealment. First level of the Dragon Tiger Realm. A casual strike from a first level of the Dragon Tiger Realm was able to force the young grandmaster to retreat. This made the young grandmaster feel both shocked and furious, and his expression became extremely unpleasant. The person who will kill you, Ling Xiao said indifferently, and his expression was extremely calm. Kill me. The young grandmaster's eyes were cold, and he said with a ferocious expression, Brat, you really don't know what's good for you. A mere Dragon Tiger Realm ant dares to say such arrogant words? If that's the case, then you and the Heaven Escort Agency will be buried together. The young grandmaster walked over slowly, and the cold aura around him became stronger and stronger, like a huge wave sweeping in all directions. Behind him, a black divine light rose, and it was as if a ferocious giant snake had appeared, exuding a chilling coldness. Ling Xiao, be careful. He's very strong. I even suspect that he's from one of those martial arts holy lands. Ren Tianxing said with a serious look. Ling Xiao nodded slightly. Although the young grandmaster's cultivation level was only first level of the grandmaster realm, the cold and evil innate True Kong was much stronger than Ren Tianxing's. It was no wonder that he could injure Ren Tianxing with one strike. When Ren Tianxing said that the young grandmaster was from the martial arts holy lands, Ling Xiao had already guessed it. Now that he saw the young grandmaster, his guess was mostly confirmed. Ren Qingluo and Yu are also grabbed the corners of their clothes tightly, looking at Ling Xiao with a worried look. You're from the Wanshou sect? Facing the young grandmaster's oppressive aura, Ling Xiao's expression remained calm, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. How did you know? The young grandmaster's expression changed, and a trace of killing intent appeared in his eyes. This further confirmed Ling Xiao's guess. You're from the Wanshou sect. How dare you come to my great barren ancient country, and behave so atrociously? But I'm curious, why are you in Qinghua City? Ling Xiao said indifferently, but his heart was slightly moved. Could it be that the Wanshou sect came to the great barren ancient country to investigate the death of Elder Quan Shi? Other than that, there didn't seem to be any other reason for the Wanshou sect to come all the way to the great barren ancient country. Wanshou sect. Ren Tianxing's body trembled, and a trace of fear appeared in his eyes. These 3 words seemed to have a demonic nature. Ren Tianxing, Ren Qingluo, Old Wu, and the others' expressions changed drastically. The 5 great martial arts holy lands of the 8 Desolates region were well known. The Wanshou sect was one of the 5 great martial arts holy lands. Just like the Sun Moon Star sect, they stood at the peak of the 8 Desolates region. It was said that any disciple from the martial arts holy lands would have unparalleled strength. It was no wonder that the young grandmaster was able to injure Ren Tianxing with one strike. Chapter 142. Kid, how did you know I'm from the Wanshou sect? Everyone who knows my identity must die. The young grandmaster looked at Wang Hu suspiciously. Wang Hu shivered and quickly said, Young Master Snake, it really wasn't me. How would I dare to reveal your identity? Perhaps this brat guessed your identity from your martial arts? As long as we kill everyone here, your identity won't be exposed. Idiot. Ling Xiao sneered. He did not hide the mockery in his eyes. So what if you're from the Wanshou sect? Anyone who dares to mess with me must die. If the Wanshou sect is made up of scum like you who bully the weak and kidnap women, then the Wanshou sect doesn't need to exist anymore. Ling Xiao's eyes were cold. He did not like the Wanshou sect at all. You're courting death. The young guru's expression turned cold, and his killing intent erupted without any concealment. He glared at Ling Xiao and said, Brat, go ahead and talk. Later, I will personally crush all the bones in your body and make you beg for death. He was very unhappy with Ling Xiao. Everyone looked at him with respect. Even Ren Tianxing and the others were terrified when they found out he was a disciple of the Wanshou sect. Only this strange young man looked calm as if he did not care about him at all. The young grandmaster's murderous intent grew stronger and stronger. Cut the crap, let's fight. Ling Xiao sneered. He had a feeling that this Wanshou sect disciple's appearance here had a lot to do with Elder Kuan, she who died in the Changshan sect. Ling Xiao had to capture him and interrogate him. He had to pry the Wanshou sect's intentions from him so that he could deal with the situation better. Therefore, to Ling Xiao, this young grandmaster was already a dead man. What an arrogant kid. I'd like to see if your combat strength is better than your mouth. Die. The young grandmaster's murderous intent grew stronger and stronger. As soon as he finished speaking, he slapped Ling Xiao with his palm. Boom. Black divine light crisscrossed, as if turning the day into night. A gloomy and evil aura burst out. The young master's palm swept across the sky, as if it had turned into a giant snake that could swallow the sky and the sun, swallowing Ling Xiao. Young Master Snake actually used the sky snake palm? Looks like this brat is dead for sure. Wang Hu's eyes widened. The sky snake palm was a low-grade earth realm martial art. It was one of the strongest trump cards of a young grandmaster. 3 days ago, Tianxing had been severely injured by the sky snake palm. Ling Xiao, this sky snake palm is extremely cold and sinister. You must be careful. A hint of worry flashed through Ren Tianxing's eyes. Now that he had fully recovered from his injuries, he still felt that he had no power to resist this palm. Heavenly snake concept? Let's see if your sky snake can swallow my Vajra. Vajra subduing devil fist kill. Ling Xiao said indifferently with a sharp glint in his eyes. Boom. Dazzling golden light exploded from Ling Xiao's body. He threw out a punch. Lightning flashed and golden light filled the sky. It was as if a Vajra had descended from the 9 heavens, carrying with it a monstrous divine power. This is the Vajra subduing devil fist. How do you know the Vajra subduing devil fist? The young grandmaster's expression changed, revealing an incomparably shocked expression. It was even more shocking than when Ling Xiao had revealed his identity. Boom. Golden light filled the sky, and black light surged. The 2 dazzling divine lights collided, stirring up an incomparably terrifying divine light storm that swept out in all directions. The surrounding people's expressions changed drastically, and they hurriedly retreated. Ling Xiao was like an undefeatable Vajra. Golden light surrounded his body, and his qi and blood surged to the sky. He stood there unmoving. That incomparably cold and sinister sky snake palm was actually shattered by Ling Xiao's punch, and the black evil aura was swept away. Crack. The young grandmaster's arm made a crisp sound, and he spat out a mouthful of blood as he flew backward. How is this possible? The Vajra subduing devil fist is the peerless martial art of the Wanshou sect. Only true disciples can practice it. Even I am not qualified. How do you know the Vajra subduing devil fist? Who the hell are you? The young grandmaster's face was pale, and his eyes were filled with disbelief as he stared at Ling Xiao. The martial art of the Wanshou sect? The Vajra subduing devil fist is the martial art of the Chongsun sect. When did it become the Wanshou sect's martial art? The Wanshou sect is just a bunch of bandits. Ling Xiao's eyebrows twitched, and he immediately understood. In the battle 500 years ago, although Daoist Tianfeng tried his best to preserve some of the martial arts, many of them were still stolen by the Wanshou sect. The Vajra subduing devil fist was one of them. No wonder the young grandmaster recognized the Vajra subduing devil fist at a glance, and was so shocked. Brother Ling Xiao, you broke the sky snake palm so easily? Old Wu was stunned, and his eyes were filled with shock. Ren Qingluo, and the others were also surprised and happy. Although they were full of confidence in Ling Xiao, the young grandmaster was too strong, and he gave off an almost invincible feeling. But in the blink of an eye, Ling Xiao had suppressed him with a single punch. This huge contrast left everyone dumbfounded. You're from the Chongsun sect? The young grandmaster's expression changed, but he immediately denied it. Impossible, the Chongsun sect is in decline now, and there are only a few strong people in the sect. The Vajra subduing devil fist has long been lost, so you can't be a disciple of the Chongsun sect. Could you be a disciple of the Sun Moon Stars sect? Waves of emotions surged in his heart as he looked at Ling Xiao with a solemn expression. The punch just now was as mighty as the heavens, and it directly broke his sky snake palm. But Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the first level of the Dragon Tiger realm, so how could he explode with such terrifying physical strength? Moreover, the young grandmaster felt that he was not fighting with a young man, but an Archean ferocious beast. Ling Xiao's physical strength was too strong. Although the punch was the Vajra subduing devil fist's fist intent, it was more of Ling Xiao's physical strength. The surging qi and blood seemed to be able to tear the sky apart. Ling Xiao did not deny it, nor did he admit it. He sneered and said, "Die." Boom. The golden fist aura rose again, and there were streaks of lightning in the void. Ling Xiao's qi and blood surged like lightning, and he threw a punch at the young grandmaster. Little bastard, do you really think I'm afraid of you? You're only at the first level of the Dragon Tiger realm, so how many punches can you make? You forced me to do this, you forced me to do this. The young grandmaster shouted at the top of his lungs, and his face was extremely ferocious. Swoosh. A strange, curved sword appeared in his hand. It gave off a boundless, cold, baleful aura. With a gentle shake, it gave off a sword light that could slice through space. This was an extremely powerful treasure, and it emitted a bright light and a buzzing sound. Brat, it's your fortune to be able to die under the sky snake sword. The young grandmaster sneered, and the sky snake sword in his hand was covered by his powerful innate true Kong. And he slashed at Ling Xiao. It's actually an upper-grade treasure? Chapter 143. The sky snake sword in the young grandmaster's hand emitted a dazzling light, causing his aura to skyrocket. The sword radiance was dazzling as it pierced through the void, as if it could pierce through everything. Only an upper-grade artifact could achieve such sharpness. In the Chongsun sect, only Nangong Xian had an inferior-grade artifact, and it was already considered the sect's most precious artifact. An artifact's boost to one's cultivation was terrifying. Usually, only grandmasters or even celestial realm experts could unleash the power of an artifact. The young grandmaster's cultivation increased by at least 2 or 3 levels when he wielded an upper-grade artifact like the sky snake sword. Ren Tianxing's eyes were filled with worry. Could Ling Xiao block the power of this sword? The power of an upper-grade artifact? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he felt a strong pressure. An upper-grade artifact's sharpness was unparalleled. After being infused with Xiantian energy, it could even cut through gold and jade, releasing a powerful sword aura. What's more, what the young grandmaster used was also a powerful earth-level sword art martial art. Infinite light, infinite darkness. Ling Xiao slowly closed his eyes, his heart as calm as an ancient well. The evil-slaying ancient sword was like a dazzling meteor. In an instant, it shone brightly, illuminating heaven and earth. Even the light of the sun was overshadowed at this moment. With a flash of the sword radiance, the light that filled the sky suddenly turned into nothingness. It was as if the sky was covered in darkness. Such a strange scene appeared between the heavens and the earth. Immeasurably bright sword light and immeasurable darkness intertwined, turning into a mysterious sword aura that suddenly exploded. What? The young grandmaster's expression changed drastically. Ling Xiao, who was originally as weak as an ant in his eyes, seemed to have turned into a primordial ferocious beast, opening its bloody mouth. The boundless light and darkness instantly enveloped the sky snake sword. Boom! The lightning was dazzling, as if it was going to cut through the void. The sky snake sword's shadow suddenly exploded. The power of extreme yin and yang intertwined, and the sword aura of endless light and darkness surged, all rushing into the young grandmaster's body. Boom! He suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood, as if he had been struck by lightning. The heavenly serpent sword in his hand emitted a clanging sound and flew out. The young Grand Master was like a meteor as he crashed into the ground, leaving behind a huge human-shaped crater. When the light dissipated, everyone's dumbfounded faces were revealed. This was especially true for Ren Tianxing, Old Wu, and the others. They felt as if their eyes were playing tricks on them. The scene of boundless light and boundless darkness traversing the world would forever remain in their hearts. With one strike, the world turned cold. Cough cough. The young Grand Master coughed violently and spat out blood. His face was extremely pale as he struggled to stand up. His eyes were filled with disbelief and fear. The infinite light and darkness sword of the Sun Luna sect. Are you really from the Sun Moon Star sect? Impossible. Impossible. How could the Sun Moon Star sect have such a monstrous talent? The young evolved Jing Master's hair was disheveled and his body was trembling. There was a hint of fear in his eyes. It was only now that he was finally afraid. Although the young man in front of him was only at the first level of the Dragon Tiger realm, the terrifying combat strength that he unleashed made him tremble in fear. The infinite light and darkness sword of the Sun Moon Star sect? Ling Xiao rubbed his nose. Based on the relationship between the Sun Moon Star sect and the Changsun sect, it was understandable that the Changsun sect had the infinite light and darkness sword. This would prove that he was related to the Sun Moon Star sect. However, Ling Xiao was too lazy to explain and let the Sun Moon Star sect be the scapegoat. With a flash of light, the evil slayer ancient sword was placed on the young Grand Master's neck. He was so frightened that his face turned pale again. What are you doing? Let me tell you. My brother is the true disciple Shi Wuhan. He has the bloodline of the heavenly serpent. If you dare to kill me, he will definitely make you die a horrible death. The young Grand Master was trembling in fear as he spoke to Ling Xiao in a threatening manner. True disciple Shi Wuhan? So what? Could it be that he really dares to kill his way into the Sun Moon Star sect? Ling Xiao sneered as his eyes were filled with mockery. Brother Ling Xiao, are you really a disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect? Ren Tianxing and Old Wu were both shocked and enlightened. Only a martial arts holy land like the Sun Moon Star sect could cultivate such a monstrous genius like Ling Xiao. However, Ren Qingluo's eyes dimmed slightly. A genius disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect. How prominent was that? The gap between the two of them was really too big. What are you trying to do? The young Grand Master was about to cry. He felt that Ling Xiao really wanted to kill him. He was really unlucky to have met such a fearless young man. However, he was really afraid of death. So when he saw that his threats were ineffective, he was so frightened that his face turned pale. What's your name? Why are you in Qinghua City? Ling Xiao said indifferently. The evil slayer ancient sword in his hand was swallowing a sharp light, as if he would immediately kill the young Grand Master if he dared to say no. My name is Shi Wuxin. I'm an inner disciple of the Wan Shou sect. 2 months ago, Elder Kuan Shi's life jade shattered, which shocked the Wan Shou sect. The sect master sent 2 guardian elders to investigate the cause of Elder Kuan Shi's death. Shi Wuxin was so frightened that his body trembled. He immediately told the truth. Following Shi Wuxin's narration, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a strange light. It was really related to Elder Kuan Shi's death. Ling Xiao naturally knew that a heaven-tier elite like Kuan Shi would definitely leave behind a life token in the sect. Ling Xiao had risked his life to kill him back then because he was betting that Kuan Shi would come to the longevity sect secretly. Now that he heard Shi Wuxin's explanation, he had indeed made the right bet. After the Wanshou sect knew that Elder Kuan Shi's life jade shattered, they sent 2 elders to the Sun Moon Star sect and the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom respectively. However, the Wanshou sect also knew that the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom was backed by the Sun Moon Star sect. So they sent Elder He Qing to the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom secretly. On the other hand, Shi Wuxin, Shi Wuhan, and many other disciples followed Elder He Qing to the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. Nominally, it was a martial arts exchange and cultivation exchange. Wang Hu was Shi Wuxin's confidant. He left home more than 10 years ago and entered the Wanshou sect by chance. This time, he wanted to return to Qinghua City to take a look. Out of curiosity, Shi Wuxin followed him. Unexpectedly, when Wang Hu returned to Qinghua City, he heard that the Mighty Tiger Escort Agency was disbanded, and that Ren Tianqing had taken over all the territories of the agency. He was furious and wanted to seek revenge. That was how the subsequent events happened. Chapter 144. Plucking Yin to replenish Yang? Ren Qingluo turned pale with fright when she heard those words. Only the clueless Yuer was still staring with her innocent eyes. This bastard deserves to die. Ren Tianqing, Old Wu, and the rest were filled with righteous indignation. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent. At the same time, they felt a lingering fear in their hearts. Fortunately, Ling Xiao had arrived in time. Otherwise, if Ren Qingluo and Yuer had fallen into Shi Wuxin's mouth, their fates would have been incomparably miserable. Ren Tianqing shuddered at the thought, and the coldness in his eyes became even more intense. Sensing the murderous intent in everyone's eyes, Shi Wuxin was so frightened that he hurriedly said, "I've told you everything. I didn't do anything to them. Young hero, please treat me like a fart and let me go. I promise I won't dare to do it again." Shi Wuxin fell to his knees in front of Ling Xiao and hurriedly kowtowed. However, when he lowered his eyes, there was a trace of resentment and cold murderous intent in them. As long as he could survive this and find his brother, all of these people would die. Especially Ling Xiao. He must make him beg for death. Are you thinking that as long as I let you go, you'll find your brother and kill all of us? Ling Xiao's gaze was indifferent as if he had seen through Shi Wuxin's thoughts. Shi Wuxin was so frightened that his entire body trembled. He hurriedly squeezed out a smile and said, "How could that be? As long as you let me go, I'll immediately scram back to the Wanshou sect to reflect on my mistakes, and never come to the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom again. I can swear to the heavens." "Ling Xiao, you mustn't let him go. If this bastard doesn't die, all of us will be in great trouble," Ren Tianqing hurriedly said, afraid that Ling Xiao would soften his heart and let Shi Wuxin go. "That's right. Brother Ling Xiao, this bastard is worse than a pig or a dog. I didn't expect the Wanshou sect to be filled with such trash. What kind of holy land is it? I think it's a demon. Kill him. Kill him." Everyone was agitated. At this moment, they seemed to have forgotten Shi Wuxin's identity, and were all shouting that they wanted to kill him. "Qi." Ling Xiao pointed his finger, and an invisible qi sword shot out, instantly piercing Shi Wuxin's Dantian qi si. You actually destroyed my cultivation. I'll kill you." Shi Wuxin suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Her face instantly paled. Her eyes were filled with incomparable terror and hatred. She struggled to get up, wanting to fight Ling Xiao to the death. Slap. Ling Xiao's slap immediately sent Shi Wuxin flying over 100 meters away. She crashed heavily in front of Ren Tianqing and the others. When Ren Tianqing and the others saw Shi Wuxin, their eyes instantly turned red. "Kill him." Many armed escorts pounced on Shi Wuxin with red eyes, throwing punches and kicks at her. 3 days ago, not only had Ren Tianqing been seriously injured by Shi Wuxin, even Wu Duo had been killed by him. As the saying goes, when enemies meet, their eyes blaze with hatred. Everyone's head was filled with hatred, and they fiercely greeted Shi Wuxin. Even though Shi Wuxin's physical body was very strong, her cultivation was now crippled, and she was seriously injured. Not long after, she was beaten to the point where she was on the verge of death, unable to speak clearly. All of you wait for me. Whoosh! The black sword in Ren Tianqing's hand flashed, reflecting the murderous intent in his eyes. He was about to strike. Bang! Ling Xiao moved and appeared in front of Ren Tianqing. He caught the sword in Ren Tianqing's hand with 2 fingers. Head escort, how can you dirty your hands with a beast like this? Leave it to me. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, ignoring the fear in Shi Wuxin's eyes. A sword radiance flashed from his palm, and chopped off Shi Wuxin's head. Boom! A dazzling 5-colored flame appeared in Ling Xiao's hand. It was the devouring true fire, the strongest flame formed after the devouring spirit seed was perfected. The devouring true fire landed on Shi Wuxin's body, and turned him into a pile of ashes. Thank you, Ling Xiao. Ren Tianqing's eyes were filled with gratitude. He knew Ling Xiao's intention. Shi Wuxin was an extraordinary person. If he died in Ren Tianqing's hands, it would bring disaster to them. Therefore, Ling Xiao took the initiative to kill Shi Wuxin after letting everyone vent their anger. He took the blame for the Heaven Escort Agency. You're too kind, head escort. I was the one who caused this trouble. Don't worry. Now that Shi Wuxin is dead, I'll be heading to the capital city soon. I'll take care of the Wanshou sect then. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes shone with a dazzling light. What are you talking about, brother Ling Xiao? If you hadn't killed Wang Wei, we would have died in the fearsome Beast Mountain range. We've been indebted to you time and time again. Do you know how we can repay you? Please accept a bow from me. Old Wu's eyes were solemn. He knelt down and bowed deeply to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, accept a bow from me. Me too. We will never forget Ling Xiao's kindness. The escorts of the Heaven Escort Agency knelt down in front of Ling Xiao. Their eyes were filled with gratitude. Everyone, please get up. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. A powerful genuine qi emanated from his body and lifted everyone up. Everyone felt a chill in their hearts. They could feel Ling Xiao's strength even more now. Ren Tianqing sighed. If he hadn't been kind enough to save Ling Xiao in the fearsome Beast Mountain, Ling Xiao wouldn't have helped the Heaven Escort Agency. It seemed like this peck and drink was predestined by the heavens. Ren Tianqing's eyes shone with a hint of enlightenment. Under the guidance of his qi, there were signs of a breakthrough. Congratulations, head escort. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he smiled faintly. Haha! This is all thanks to you, Ling Xiao. Today, we'll drink until we're drunk. We haven't treated you properly since we arrived at Qinghua City. Ren Tianqing's eyes shone with joy. He had been stuck at level 1 of the Grandmaster realm for so long. Now that he felt the fluctuations of a breakthrough, he was very excited. Are you really a disciple of the Sun Luna Star sect? Ren Qingluo came forward. Her delicate fragrance lingered in the air. Her eyes were filled with curiosity. I do have some connections with the Sun Luna Star sect. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said vaguely. However, when Ren Qingluo heard it, her eyes dimmed. Ling Xiao was indeed a disciple of the Sun Luna Star sect. Head escort, Miss Qingluo, I still have important matters to attend to. I'm afraid I can't stay in Qinghua City for long. Ling Xiao looked at Ren Tianqing and Ren Qingluo and said with a smile. He was about to leave. Ling Xiao estimated that there were only a few days left before the Demon King Mansion's year-end competition. Chapter 145. What? You're leaving? Ren Tianqing's expression changed as he hurriedly said. Ling Xiao, why don't you stay in Qinghua City for a few more days, so that I can play host to you? Hearing that Ling Xiao was leaving, Ren Qingluo's body swayed and her face turned pale. Brother Ling Xiao, don't go, okay? You can't bear to part with you. You also ran over and hugged Ling Xiao's leg with a face full of reluctance. Head escort, Ling Xiao is indeed busy and can't stay for long. However, if there's a chance in the future, I'll come to Qinghua City to visit everyone. Ling Xiao smiled and hugged you. Good, Qinghua City isn't far from the capital. Brother Ling Xiao will come to visit you often in the future. All right then, Brother Ling Xiao, please don't forget about you. You nodded her head sensibly. Her beautiful big eyes were filled with longing. Seeing that Ling Xiao had made up his mind, Ren Tianqing looked regretful and did not continue to persuade him. Since that's the case, we won't keep you. In the future, as long as you say the word, even if it's a mountain of swords or a sea of fire, we'll do it for you. That's right, brother Ling Xiao. Next time, Old Wu will definitely drink you until you're drunk. Old Wu and the rest were reluctant to part and bid farewell to Ling Xiao. Whoosh! A light flashed in Ling Xiao's hand and 2 ancient books and a white jade bottle flew to Ren Tianqing. At the same time Ling Xiao's voice sounded. Head escort, these 2 books are my parting gift. The 2 spiritual pills in the jade bottle are for Miss Qingluo and you. After speaking, Ling Xiao did not wait for Ren Tianqing to reject him. He smiled at everyone and turned to leave Qinghua City. Everyone will meet again. Ling Xiao's hearty laughter could be heard as his slender figure gradually disappeared into the distance under the bright and beautiful sunlight. Ren Qingluo looked at Ling Xiao's departing figure, and her eyes seemed to be in a daze. Unknowingly, Ren Tianqing had walked up to her and sighed softly. Qingluo, young Master Ling Xiao is not someone from the same world as us. He's an eagle in the sky, a dragon in the raging sea. His journey is the sea of stars. Other than the peak of martial arts, there's nothing that can stop him. You better forget about him. As a father, how could Ren Tianqing not understand Ren Qingluo's feelings? However, he also knew that Ling Xiao wasn't an ordinary person. Even if they had only met for a short time, it was impossible for them to stay together forever. Father, I know, Ren Qingluo said softly. Her face was somewhat pale, and her eyes revealed a heart-wrenching and pitiful light. Sky-fretting sword art and flowing cloud-flying crane fist? All of them are earth-grade peerless martial arts. Ren Tianqing's voice suddenly became extremely shocked. He originally thought that the martial arts that Ling Xiao gave him would be very precious, but he didn't expect it to be so precious. Even in the martial Dao Holy Lands, only true disciples were qualified to practice earth-class peerless martial arts. Even the Great Desolation ancient nation did not have many earth-class peerless martial arts. Ling Xiao took out 2 books in one go. The sky-traversing sword art was incomparably murderous. Its sword-intent sword, and with the momentum of heaven and earth, it condensed the sky-traversing sword intent. If demons blocked its path, it would slay demons. If demons blocked its path, it would slay demons. It was incomparably powerful. On the other hand, the flowing cloud-flying crane fist was small and exquisite. It was a supreme fist technique that cleansed the internal organs and tempered the body. With these 2 great martial arts, it wouldn't be a problem for him to break through to the sky-human realm. Ren Tianqing's gaze landed on the jade bottle again. The 2 martial arts were already so shocking. The spiritual pills must be incomparably precious. When the jade bottle was opened, 2 golden spiritual pills appeared. There seemed to be a soft dragon's roar, and a medicinal fragrance wafted out. It was extremely precious. Moreover, there were strange patterns on the spiritual pills that seemed to form the shape of a real dragon. With one look, one could tell that they were extraordinary. Could this be the legendary dragon transformation pill? Ren Tianqing's body trembled. He had seen the introduction of the dragon transformation pill before. The spiritual pills in the jade bottle were exactly the same as the dragon transformation pill. The dragon transformation pill was a supreme spiritual pill in the legends. It could cleanse one's body, change one's body, and improve one's aptitude. It was extremely magical. However, the dragon transformation pill was said to have been lost. The fact that Ling Xiao could take out such a lost spiritual pill confirmed his identity as a disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect. Most likely, only the martial Dao Holy Land would have such an ancient spiritual pill. This is the gift he left for me and you, Ren Qingluo took the jade bottle and held it tightly in her palm. Her eyes revealed a strange look. Ren Tianqing laughed bitterly and said, "Looks like we owe young Master Ling Xiao a favor. No matter what, we can't repay it." Moreover, to be able to take out 2 Earth-tier peerless martial arts and the lost dragon transformation pill so easily, young Master Ling Xiao is very respected even in the Sun Moon Star sect. Not mentioning the shock of Ren Tianqing and the rest, Ling Xiao had already left Qinghua City. Qinghua City was only 1,000 miles away from the capital. Moreover, the road was smooth. Ling Xiao followed the official road and headed north at a very fast speed. It was already the beginning of winter. The world was cold. The sky that was originally clear started to turn gloomy in the afternoon. Dark clouds rolled and the north wind roared. Goose feather-like snowflakes started to fall. The world turned into a vast expanse of white. The wilderness was lonely, open and barren. Only Ling Xiao advanced along the official road alone. But in this sky full of snowflakes, Ling Xiao felt a faint murderous intent again. The netherworld is really haunting me. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of cold light. He knew that the netherworld's assassins were approaching. Counting it, this was already the 4th assassination. Losing so many assassins, Ling Xiao also could not figure out why the netherworld would be so diligent. And what kind of price did Ling Yunxiang, that old thing, pay? Ling Xiao's eyes flickered with a cold light. His figure was like a shadow, slowly disappearing in the vast expanse of white snow. Swish! A streak of blood light flashed, dyeing the spotlessly white snow red. Ling Xiao's figure flashed and stabbed an assassin hidden in the snow to death with a sword. A sword to the throat, not giving him any chance to call for help at all. Ling Xiao's figure was like a ghost, instantly disappearing again. Under the perception of Ling Xiao's powerful spiritual energy, the hiding positions of all the assassins were crystal clear. He was like a reaper harvesting lives. Without waiting for the assassins to make a move, he had already taken their lives. The sword light was swift and fierce, but it did not emit the slightest bit of murderous intent. Ling Xiao's aura was very ethereal, as if he did not exist in this world. He was harvesting the lives of all the assassins at an extremely fast speed. This wave of assassins had more people, but in the end, all of them died under Ling Xiao's sword. After a quarter of an hour, Ling Xiao's body was spotless. More than 20 assassins from the netherworld had been piled up into a pile of corpses. Then he burned them all with fire. The blazing flames illuminated Ling Xiao's cold gaze. Ling Yunxiang must die. Chapter 146. After killing all the underworld assassins, the journey became much calmer. The northern wind whistled, snowflakes danced in the air, and dark clouds rolled in the sky. The world was covered in white as if Ling Xiao was the only one left. Ling Xiao circulated his true qi, and each step he took covered more than 100 feet. Surprisingly, he did not leave any footprints behind. It was as if he was flying in the snow. With a light tap, he covered more than 100 feet, leaving no trace in the snow. If anyone saw this, they would be extremely shocked. This was an extremely high level of Qinggong. Only Sky Realm experts could fly in the air, and only Grandmaster Realm experts could leave no trace in the snow. They could even stay in the air for a short period of time. Ling Xiao's heaven-devouring true qi was extremely dense, and it was not much weaker than a Grandmaster Realm expert. After the sky darkened, Ling Xiao rested for a day in an inn. On the second day, the snow had stopped, and the sun shone on the earth, illuminating a world of ice and snow. Ling Xiao continued on his journey. Not long after, he saw a huge city appear on the horizon. The city was extremely vast, and it was like an ancient beast hibernating on the earth. The city walls were built with red stones, and they were hundreds of feet tall. Under the sun, they looked like flowing flames, and it was incomparably bright. The capital city, I finally arrived. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of astonishment. The capital city was not unfamiliar to Ling Xiao, because it had existed 10,000 years ago. As the capital city of the Great Desolation ancient country, it was a place where the 9 dragons gathered, and it had extraordinary luck. The capital city exuded an ancient aura. The city walls were mottled, and there were traces of potholes on them. It showed that this ancient city had experienced countless storms and wars. The further Ling Xiao walked, the more he could feel the vicissitudes of the capital city. The direction Ling Xiao was heading towards was the gate of the capital city, the Great Desolation sect. It was located in the north, and it had an aura that could swallow the world. The 8 gates were wide open, and people were coming and going, showing the prosperity of the capital city. The capital city was different from a small city like Qinghua City. The capital city was hundreds of miles wide, and there were millions of people in the city. It was a very prosperous place where the rich and high-ranking officials of the Great Desolation ancient country gathered. Outside the city gates, many armored guards with exuberant chi and blood stared indifferently at the passing crowd with eagle-like eyes. These soldiers guarding the city were all at least in the realm of true chi, and their bodies were full of murderous aura. They were all elites on the battlefield. Ling Xiao stood at the back of the long line and followed the crowd into the city. "Get out of the way, get out of the way." At this moment, a commotion broke out in the crowd behind them. Ling Xiao turned his head and saw a chariot coming from afar. The chariot was glowing with a scarlet light and looked extraordinary. The ones pulling the carriage were two incomparably pure white tigers. These two tigers exuded a powerful aura. Their eyes were crimson red, and their limbs contained a powerful force. They were actually fifth-order demonic beasts, two tiger beasts comparable to the Grandmaster realm. On both sides of the carriage, there were two groups of spear-wielding guards. They wore crimson armor that looked like flowing flames. Each of them looked valiant, and their auras were powerful. There was a different kind of beauty to them. These guards were all women. The curtains on the chariot drooped down, and a scarlet light flashed, making it impossible for people to see who was inside. However, Ling Xiao could faintly see that there seemed to be two women in the chariot. Although he couldn't see their faces, their figures were graceful, and their hands were slender. Their appearances should be extraordinary. The chariot went towards the leftmost door. That door was very fast, and only members of the imperial family and high officials could go through it. "It's actually the little Princess Vermilion Bird Camp? Didn't the little princess already go to the Sun Moon Star sect to cultivate? You don't know about this, right? I heard that the little princess came back to participate in the New Year's grand ceremony of the Great Wilderness. Vermilion Bird Camp. I heard that although there are only 360 people, they are all experts above the true Qi realm, and each of them is as beautiful as a flower. If anyone marries the little princess, then it won't be a blessing for all, but a blessing for all, a blessing for all. I received inside information that the little princess didn't come back to participate in the New Year's grand ceremony. It seems that she has another goal, and that is to cancel her engagement with that trash." "Engagement? Could it be the demon lord's son Ling Xiao? I heard that the big trash cultivated for many years and still couldn't open his meridians. How can such a trash be worthy of the little princess?" "Isn't that so? After the demon lord disappeared, that big trash isn't having a good time either. I heard that the Ling family has already decided to let Ling Tianxi inherit the title of demon lord. That big trash is finished." "There's a good show to watch now." The crowd discussed animatedly as they watched the chariot slowly approach from afar. Their eyes were filled with awe and veneration. "Little Princess Xia Hongxiu? She wants to cancel the engagement? This is getting more and more interesting." Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and his lips curled into a sinister smile. If the original owner who hadn't been possessed by Ling Xiao heard this, he would probably feel extremely humiliated, and would immediately pounce on Xia Hongxiu to settle the score. However, Ling Xiao didn't feel anything. After all, the difference between the two of them was too big. It was expected that Xia Hongxiu didn't want to marry Ling Xiao. However, now that Ling Xiao had inherited everything from the original owner, it was fine if Xia Hongxiu didn't provoke him. However, if she dared to provoke Ling Xiao would definitely teach her an unforgettable lesson. Selling candied haws. Sweet and fragrant candied haws. "Sir, do you want to buy one?" At this moment, an old woman slowly walked to Ling Xiao's side. She held a straw target in her hand, and there were dozens of bright red sugar-coated haws on it. The woman smiled and interrupted Ling Xiao's train of thought. "Thank you, but I don't need it." Ling Xiao shook his head. His gaze was still on the chariot, and he didn't turn around. However, in the next moment, Ling Xiao felt a cold, murderous intent coming at him. It was almost on his chest in an instant. Not good. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. He realized that the originally old woman had an extremely cold, murderous intent on her face. A dagger appeared in her hand, and she stabbed it towards Ling Xiao's heart. This stab was extremely vicious. Furthermore, the woman's disguise was extremely good. She took advantage of Ling Xiao's distraction to fool his senses. Once she got close to him, she wanted to kill him in one strike. An assassin from the underworld? Ling Xiao's mind reacted in a flash. He didn't expect the underworld to make a move at this moment. Furthermore, the aura of this woman was unfathomable. She was actually a grandmaster, a golden assassin. Chapter 147. At this moment of crisis, Ling Xiao's chest actually caved in. At the same time, Ling Xiao's left palm was like a blade, slicing across the old woman's wrist. His right fist exploded with unparalleled power, suddenly punching out. Bang! The old woman's blade missed, and at the same time, her palm was sliced by Ling Xiao. With a muffled bang, the old woman actually floated back like a piece of paper. Boom! Ling Xiao's fist landed in the air, giving off an explosive sound. You're courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed an incomparably cold light. Pressing forward, the powerful qi and blood all over his body exploded. Dozens of invisible energy swords shot out, sealing off all of the old woman's escape routes. If Ling Xiao had not reacted quickly just now, he would probably have died in the hands of that old woman. The repeated assassination attempts by the underworld had finally caused Ling Xiao to become enraged. Kill! Ling Xiao punched out. Vast fist essence exploded, surging in all directions, enveloping the old woman under the fist aura. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In the surrounding crowd, a few more figures shot out. Like ghosts holding spears, they attacked Ling Xiao. It was only at this moment that the crowd finally reacted. They were so scared that they started to scream and run in all directions. Not good enemy attack. Assassins. Protect the princess. The female warriors of Vermilion Bird Camp's eyes flashed, shouting loudly. A group of female warriors protected the carriage, and another group of female warriors held long spears, thrusting at the incoming assassins with incomparable speed. Ding ding dang dang. The old woman's gaze was cold. The dagger in her hand was extremely fast, blocking the dozens of invisible energy swords one by one, and giving off a series of metal clashing sounds. Ling Xiao's fist punched out, extremely young and strong, unmatched. The old woman's body spun in the air like a top, dissipating the power of Ling Xiao's fist, and her entire body floated like a snowflake. Kill her. The expressions of the mini-guards also changed greatly. There was actually someone who dared to assassinate the little princess in the capital. If anything happened to the little princess, none of them would be able to escape. The aura of this old woman was exactly the same as the aura of those assassins who had rushed out. Thus they instantly made a decision. Under the lead of a burly young general wearing crimson armor, they charged towards the old woman. Seeing Vermilion Bird Camp and the city guards come out, Ling Xiao stopped and stood to the side to watch. Saber light and sword light filled the air. The guards were all experienced soldiers, and they were all well trained. They attacked at the same time, and their true energy surged as they shot toward the old woman. You're courting death. The old woman was enraged and spat out a hoarse voice. She moved as fast as lightning, and the dagger in her hand quickly slashed across the necks of several guards. Blood splattered everywhere. Clang! The young general's eyes turned red as he slashed down with his saber. His attack was imbued with a powerful innate qi. He had actually reached the dragon tiger realm. However, the old woman raised the dagger in her hand, and a black divine light rushed out and pointed at the young general's long sword. Suddenly, the young general felt as if he had been struck by lightning, and he stumbled back a few steps. Bang bang bang. The other assassins who wanted to charge at Ling Xiao were also surrounded by the female warriors of Vermilion Bird Camp, and a great battle broke out. However, although these female warriors had the advantage in numbers and were skilled in cooperation, they were facing at least experts of the Dragon Tiger realm. Thus, in the fierce battle, they were immediately surrounded by danger. Just as an assassin's sword light came through the air and was about to pierce through the throat of a female warrior, an old voice exploded in the air. You're seeking death. Beside the carriage, there was an old man who was originally driving the carriage. He looked very unremarkable, but there was lightning flashing in his eyes at this moment. A large hand of true energy came through the air. It was extremely hot, and emitted a blazing flame as it grabbed at the assassins. Bang! That assassin did not have any power to resist, and his body instantly turned into a bloody mist in the air. The large hand of true energy swept out, and all the assassins were slapped to death, unable to withstand a single blow. Is it the heaven realm? Ling Zhao's eyes narrowed slightly. Xia Hongxiu should not have such power to have a heaven realm expert drive the carriage for her. Then it could only be the other woman. Who was that woman? What? The old woman's eyes changed drastically. Seeing the large hand of true energy coming towards her, her body suddenly flashed, and she turned into countless afterimages in the air, quickly escaping into the distance. Stay here. The old and indifferent voice sounded. The large hand of true energy suddenly exploded, and the blazing light turned into a sea of fire, enveloping all the afterimages. The sea of fire rose, vast and scorching. A scream was heard, and the old woman was instantly burned into ashes. Dang! A crisp sound was heard, and a golden token fell on the ground. Whoosh! A strong suction force came, and the golden token flew into the old man's hand in an instant. Saintess, it's the gold medal assassin of the underworld. The old man retracted his aura, and returned to his lazy and casual state. There was a faint light in his old and cloudy eyes. His voice was very low, but Ling Zhao's mental strength was very strong, and he heard his words. Saintess? Could it be the saintess of the Sun-Moon Star sect? This is interesting. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and he thought to himself. Your subordinate Wang Biao greets your highness. The assassins disturbed your highness. Your subordinate will die 1,000 deaths. The young general fell to his knees in front of the carriage, and his face was filled with fear. Today, someone actually dared to assassinate your highness carriage. Fortunately, your highness was fine. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to redeem himself even if he died 1,000 deaths. He hated this group of assassins to the core. They had to assassinate me when I was on duty. They really deserved to die. Take the bodies of these assassins away. You don't have to care about this matter. I will deal with it myself. A crisp female voice sounded from the carriage. The curtains fluttered, and a graceful figure could be vaguely seen. Yes. Wang Biao saw that the little princess didn't pursue his responsibility, and he immediately heaved a sigh of relief. He wiped the sweat on his forehead, and ordered his subordinates to clean up the bodies of the assassins. Strange, those assassins were clearly here to assassinate me. Even if ordinary people don't know, the people in the carriage should know very well. Why didn't Xia Hongxiu interrogate me? Could it be that she recognized me? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and he guessed in his heart. He originally thought of an excuse to deal with Xia Hongxiu's interrogation, but he didn't expect Xia Hongxiu to brush it off so easily, and even help him cover it up. As for Ling Zhao's help just now, although it had shocked everyone, they only thought of him as a young hero with extraordinary cultivation who had stepped in to help because he saw injustice. No one connected him to those assassins. That's strange. Ling Zhao didn't understand, and his gaze landed on the carriage. The carriage that stopped started moving again. Under the protection of the Vermilion Bird Camp, it slowly walked into the city. Chapter 148. Senior sister, do you know that brat? The assassins from the underworld were clearly targeting him. Why did you help him? Inside the carriage, there were two beautiful figures. One of them was a young girl, wearing a red dress. She had snow-white skin and a graceful figure. Although she looked like she was only 15 or 16 years old, her figure was very hot. Her thighs were slender and firm. Her waist was small and slender. Hidden in her red dress, her breasts were towering, making one's blood boil. Her face was very delicate. She had cherry lips, a small nose and big watery eyes. However, there was a trace of arrogance in her eyes, along with a trace of royalty. Her long hair was tied up high, and a red whip was wrapped around her waist. She looked valiant and had a different kind of beauty. She was the little princess of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom, the most beloved daughter of the Great Desolation King, Xia Hongxiu. At this moment, Xia Hongxiu's eyes were filled with doubt as she looked at the woman opposite her. I don't know him. It's just that he has a very familiar aura on his body. A clear and cold voice sounded. It was like a jade bead falling on a jade plate. It was very clear and pleasant to the ears. The woman slowly said, Her star-like eyes opened. In an instant, a brilliance was released and the entire carriage lit up. This was a woman that would make people feel ashamed of their inferiority. Her entire body was covered in a layer of faint moonlight. Her white clothes were whiter than snow. She looked incomparably agile, like a fairy from the Moon Palace. She had an extraordinary temperament. She had a peerless face that was breathtakingly beautiful. Her body emitted an indifferent and cold temperament, as if she was above the common populace. Her eyes were like the stars. They were dazzling and filled with a faint brilliance. Her black hair was scattered, and there seemed to be a full moon behind her head. She was beautiful and otherworldly. She was sitting there, but she seemed to be very far away, making it difficult for people to touch her. Even when Xia Hongxiu saw this woman, there was no jealousy in her heart. She was only full of admiration. If Xia Hongxiu was a princess of the mortal world, then this woman was a goddess above the 9 heavens. Her beauty was peerless and incomparable. A familiar aura? Xia Hongxiu was even more confused. Her eyes flashed with a hint of understanding. The woman before her was even more honorable than her. Her name was Yueshan, and she was the saintess of the Sun-Moon-Star sect. Her cultivation was unfathomable. That aura is too similar to the aura in the forbidden area. Who is that young man? Moon God's eyes were dazed. She felt more and more that young man was mysterious. Senior sister, do you want me to investigate that young man's identity for you? Xia Hongxiu rolled her eyes and asked with a smile. No need. If fate wills it, we will meet again. The moon goddess smiled faintly. In an instant, her beauty made the world lose its color. Even Xia Hongxiu couldn't help but become infatuated. This saintess was too pure and holy. Who knew who would be able to obtain her favor? Perhaps only the legendary young kings were worthy of her. Xia Hongxiu thought to herself. The carriage had already entered the royal capital. As for Ling Xiao, although he had doubts in his heart, he didn't think too much about it. He obediently queued up and entered the royal capital. The royal capital was huge. Even the streets were large enough to accommodate a dozen warhorses side by side. There were tall lofts and shops on both sides. The streets were very clean and were paved with a type of sturdy black jade. On the streets, people came and went. It was very prosperous. There are still 3 days before the end-of-year competition. I'll go to the spiritual potion pavilion to find Jiamu first. Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat. He didn't rush back to the Demon King's mansion. Instead, he inquired about the location of the spiritual potion pavilion and headed there. The current Demon King's mansion, Grand Elder Ling Yunxiang, wanted his grandson Ling Tianxi to inherit the title of Demon King. He didn't even hesitate to ask the underworld to deal with Ling Xiao. The current Demon King's mansion was definitely not a good place for Ling Xiao. Although Ling Xiao wasn't afraid, he didn't want to get into trouble. After all, in his eyes, Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi were already dead. The spiritual potion pavilion was founded by one of the 2 high-grade alchemy grandmasters of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom, Pure Yang Spiritual Master. It was distributed throughout the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom and operated the business of spiritual pills and spiritual herbs. It could be considered a loose alchemy alliance. Grandmaster Jiao Mu was previously an elder of the spiritual potion pavilion. However, this time, Jiao Mu had the 5 profound spiritual pills, 6 profound spiritual pills, and 7 profound spiritual pills in his hands. Even in the royal capital, he would have a certain status. This time, Ling Xiao wanted to see how Jiao Mu was doing. If he did well, Ling Xiao wouldn't be stingy with giving this unnamed disciple some benefits. The spiritual potion pavilion was located in the eastern part of the city. It occupied a few hundred acres of land. There were many lofts and exotic flowers and herbs could be seen everywhere. It was one of the most noble places in the royal capital. The alchemists of the spiritual potion pavilion were sought after by countless experts, especially the alchemy grandmasters. They could refine precious pills that could be consumed by grandmasters and even sky humans. Their status was incomparably noble. The resources that the spiritual potion pavilion earned every year would make the royal family of the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom green with envy. When Ling Xiao arrived at the spiritual potion pavilion, he was secretly amazed. Esteemed guest, may I ask what you need? We have all kinds of spiritual pills and spiritual herbs here. I see that you have an extraordinary appearance and outstanding talent. Would you like to try our newly launched 5 profound spiritual pills and 6 profound spiritual pills? As soon as Ling Xiao walked into the spiritual medicine hall, a young servant with delicate features walked over and greeted him politely. The servant's eyes were very sharp. He could see that although Ling Xiao's clothes were very simple, his aura was extraordinary. He was clearly not an ordinary person. Moreover, Ling Xiao had used the heaven-devouring secret technique to conceal his cultivation, revealing only the cultivation of the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm. Although reaching the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm at the age of 16 was already considered a genius, it wasn't considered shocking in the royal capital. Oh, 5 profound spiritual pills and 6 profound spiritual pills? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed and he revealed a faint smile. It seemed that Jiaomu had done well. He had already refined these 2 spiritual pills and was selling them. That's right. The 5 profound spiritual pills and 6 profound spiritual pills were refined by Grandmaster Jiaomu of the Spiritual Potion Pavilion. In the entire Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom, only the Spiritual Potion Pavilion has them. The 5 profound spiritual pill can allow a spirit transformation realm expert to increase his cultivation by 3 levels without any conditions. As for the 6 profound spiritual pill, it can allow a spirit transformation realm expert to break through to the Dragon Tiger realm. Moreover, there are no side effects after consuming these 2 spiritual pills. The servant said proudly as he looked at Ling Xiao with anticipation. Oh, then how much are the 5 profound spiritual pills and 6 profound spiritual pills? Ling Xiao asked calmly. The 5 profound spiritual pills are 1,000 peerless spiritual stones each, and the 6 profound spiritual pills are 10,000 peerless spiritual stones each. These 2 spiritual pills were personally refined by Grandmaster Jiaomu, and are of superior quality. They are definitely worth the price. Would this young master like to give them a try? Chapter 149. So expensive. Ling Xiao was also shocked. It had to be known that all the materials for a 5 profound spirit pill were only worth 1,000 high-grade spirit stones. If the cost of refining the pill was included, it wouldn't exceed 2,000 high-grade spirit stones. Yet it was priced at 1,000 high-grade spirit stones. This was simply 50 times the profit. The 6 profound spirit pill was the same. The profit was 100 times. Ling Xiao didn't expect that the old man, Jiaomu, who seemed to be obsessed with alchemy, would be so black-hearted. So black-hearted and cruel. But Ling Xiao liked it. Young master, it's not expensive. You don't know, but the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill are usually in short supply. You can't buy them even if you want to. Today, Grandmaster Jiaomu just refined them. If you wait a little longer, you won't be able to buy them. The servant misunderstood Ling Xiao's meaning, but he didn't mean to look down on him. Instead, he patiently explained. Sure enough, as soon as the servant finished speaking, a young man in black rushed in and shouted, "Are there any more 5 profound spirit pills and 6 profound spirit pills? Give me 10 of each. I also want 10 of each. Everyone give the fierce tiger gang some face. Today's 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill, we'll take them all." Why should you take them all? First come, first served, okay? As the young man in black rushed in, many cultivators with powerful auras rushed into the Spirit Potion Pavilion. Their faces were filled with excitement. Grandmaster Jiaomu's status was noble. After a month of testing, the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill had miraculous effects on cultivators at the spirit transformation realm. Moreover, they had no other effect. Naturally, countless people sought after them. However, the Spirit Potion Pavilion only provided 105 profound spirit pills and 6 profound spirit pills every 3 days. For the entire capital, it was simply a drop in the bucket. Therefore, as soon as they received the news, they all rushed in. When Ling Xiao saw this scene, he was also a bit speechless. It seemed that he had underestimated the attraction of the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill to everyone. Young master, if you don't buy them now, will they all snatch them away? The attendant was also anxious. Seeing the other attendants happily guiding customers to buy spirit pills, and Ling Xiao still had a look of disdain on his face, he couldn't help but urge Ling Xiao to hurry up. I'm not here to buy pills. I'm here to find Grandmaster Jiao Mu. You're not bad. Go and find Jiao Mu for me. You'll be rewarded. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, and only then did he state his intentions. Who are you looking for? Master. Master Jiao Mu? The servant was stunned. He looked at Ling Xiao with an expression that said, Are you crazy? This young man looked about the same age as him. Although his bearing was extraordinary, he said that he wanted Master Jiao Mu to see him. Could it be that he had lost his mind? The manservant nearly jumped up and cursed, but he still suppressed the anger in his heart and said with a wry smile, Young master, how can Grandmaster Jiao Mu be someone I can meet whenever I want? I heard that he's in seclusion refining pills. If I disturb him, I'm afraid I won't even know how I died. Since you don't want to buy any spirit pills, you'd better leave. The waiter didn't want to be entangled with Ling Xiao anymore, so he turned around to greet the other customers. Waiter, if you can't see Jiao Mu, then ask your manager to come over and call Jiao Mu for me. Unexpectedly, Ling Xiao directly grabbed the waiter and refused to let him go. Although the waiter had a cultivation at the True Qi realm, how could he break free from Ling Xiao's arm? Young master, I'm really powerless. The waiter was so anxious that he was about to cry. However, his eyes flashed, and he instantly saw a figure walking over. It was a middle-aged man in black robes. He had a mustache, a very long face, and small eyes that shot out wisps of light. He looked very shrewd. Young master, he's our manager. Since you want to see Grandmaster Jiao Mu, I'll go tell the manager. Whether or not the idiom works isn't something I can decide. The waiter looked at Ling Xiao with a long face. All right. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. The waiter walked over to the black-robed middle-aged man and bowed. He pointed at Ling Xiao as if saying something. In the next moment, the black-robed middle-aged man's expression changed, and he slapped over. Slap. The waiter screamed. Half of his face instantly swelled up, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. He was sent flying by the black-robed middle-aged man. Ling Xiao's gaze turned cold. His figure flashed, and he instantly teleported behind the waiter and caught him. Are you all right? Ling Xiao asked. The waiter covered half of his face, so aggrieved that tears came out. He said incoherently, Young master, I've already spoken to Manager Ma, but he didn't agree. There's nothing I can do. Speaking of which, he was only a teenager. The reason he was humiliated for no reason was also because of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's gaze instantly turned cold. Lu Cheng, you're getting bolder and bolder. Is Grandmaster Jiao Mu someone that any Tom, Dick or Harry can meet? If there's a next time, I'll break your legs. Manager Ma's cold and piercing voice rang out, and his gaze instantly landed on Ling Xiao. Kid, are you the one who wants to meet Grandmaster Jiao Mu? Grandmaster Jiao Mu isn't someone that any Tom, Dick, or Harry can meet. Manager Ma saw that Ling Xiao's clothes were very ordinary, and his cultivation was only at the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm. He also had a travel-worn appearance, so he knew that Ling Xiao wasn't some noble young master. He immediately sneered. I'm indeed not here to meet Grandmaster Jiao Mu. Ling Xiao looked indifferently at Manager Ma. There was no emotion in his voice as he said, I want Grandmaster Jiao Mu to meet me. What did you say? Ha ha ha. Steward Ma stared blankly for a moment before bursting into laughter. It was as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. He laughed so hard that his back was bent. Kid, who do you think you are? Even the princes don't dare to speak so arrogantly. Are you the monarch of the great wilderness, or the master of a martial arts holy land? Why don't you take a piss and take a look? You think you can get Grandmaster Jiao Mu to meet you? Manager Ma's gaze was cold as he looked at Ling Xiao. His body emitted a faint murderous aura, as if he was about to attack at any moment. Manager Ma was also at the 3rd level of the Dragon Tiger realm. While I'm in a good mood today, I advise you to scram. Otherwise, I'm afraid your limbs will be broken and you'll have to crawl out. Manager Ma's body emitted a powerful pressure that pressed down on Ling Xiao. The commotion here also attracted many customers of the spiritual elixir pavilion. Everyone looked like they were watching a show, and their eyes were filled with schadenfreude. Is this kid's brain flooded with water? He actually dares to ask Grandmaster Jiamu to meet him? That's right. Grandmaster Jiamu's prestige in the capital is only second to the state preceptor and spiritual master Chunyang. I think this kid is here to cause trouble, right? Manager Ma isn't a good person. Looks like this kid is going to suffer. Chapter 150. Hearing Steward Ma's words, Ling Xiao didn't get angry. Instead, he narrowed his eyes. A sharp glint flashed from his eyes and landed on Steward Ma. Steward Ma trembled, feeling as if he was being stared at by an ancient beast. His entire body stiffened. However, he immediately became angry out of humiliation. How could he be frightened by a brat at the third level of the spirit transformation realm? This brat is too despicable. How do you know that Master Jiamu won't come out to see me? I advise you to obediently report to him. Otherwise, I won't be able to control what happens later. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Steward Ma's eyes flashed with a fierce glint. He sneered and said, Brat, you're really arrogant. Now I've changed my mind. If you kneel before me and kowtow and beg for mercy, I can break your limbs and spare your life. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Kowtow and beg for mercy? Break my limbs? That's a good idea. If you go and tell Jiamu to come see me, I can also spare your life. Ling Xiao nodded indifferently. His expression was incomparably calm, as if he didn't feel Steward Ma's powerful aura. Everyone couldn't help but laugh. Was this brat scared out of his wits? He actually dared to threaten Steward Ma? Everyone knew how ruthless Steward Ma was. Previously, when someone caused trouble in the spiritual potion pavilion, Steward Ma broke their limbs and crippled their cultivation before throwing them out of the spiritual potion pavilion like a dead dog. Even those powerful officials and dignitaries were very polite to Steward Ma, because Steward Ma's sister was the concubine of the spiritual potion pavilion's deputy pavilion master. The pure young spiritual master usually didn't care about worldly affairs. Therefore, most of the matters in the spiritual potion pavilion were managed by the deputy pavilion master, Sun Qiyuan. Brat, you're courting death. Steward Ma's face instantly darkened. A cold murderous intent appeared in his eyes. Innate energy surged from his body as he sent a palm strike toward Ling Xiao. His palm was surrounded by a faint black glow. It was as hard as iron and stone as if it could shatter everything. Iron palm. A mystic class peerless rank martial art. A single palm strike could shatter gold and shatter stone. If a martial artist was hit by the iron palm, their internal organs would be instantly crushed by the fierce palm force. Even gods would not be able to save them. Steward Ma wanted to kill Ling Xiao, so his first move was his iron palm, which he was most proud of. The iron palm came flying through the air, containing traces of killing intent. With a faint sound of explosion, it arrived in front of Ling Xiao in an instant. In the eyes of the crowd, Ling Xiao stood there in a daze, not moving at all. There were even some people who couldn't bear it anymore. Such a youth was about to be killed by Steward Ma in the next moment. Boom! However, in the next moment, the expected scene of Ling Xiao's head being smashed by the iron palm did not happen. Instead, Ling Xiao's hand had grabbed Steward Ma's arm. The iron palm stopped 3 inches away from Ling Xiao's forehead, but could not advance any further. What? Steward Ma's expression changed. He felt as if his arm had been grabbed by a ferocious beast with boundless strength. He was unable to struggle at all. Kacha! A crisp sound was heard, and Steward Ma's arm was crushed by Ling Xiao in an instant. Ling Xiao's expression was indifferent, but Steward Ma felt a wave of intense pain. His face contorted in an instant, and he screamed in pain. Ah! My hand! Little bastard, I'm going to kill you, kill you! Steward Ma seemed to have gone mad. His face was incomparably ferocious. His other hand slammed down towards Ling Xiao. Powerful innate gang qi erupted from his body like sharp swords, causing the bluestone floor in the hall to crack. Kacha! Ling Xiao's expression was still incomparably calm. His palm was like a knife, directly chopping down on Steward Ma's other arm. Another crisp sound was heard, and Steward Ma's other arm drooped down. Boom! Ling Xiao's leg was like the wind, crushing Steward Ma's knee. Steward Ma knelt on the ground with a thud, howling in pain. Steward Ma's blood-curdling screams were like that of a pig being slaughtered, resounding throughout the spiritual medicine hall. How dare you behave so atrociously in the spiritual medicine hall? You're courting death. Suddenly, a few incomparably powerful auras rushed over. Their gazes were indifferent, and their bodies emitted powerful auras, surrounding Ling Xiao. These people were all grandmasters, and their auras were unfathomable. Their powerful auras locked onto Ling Xiao, as if they would launch a thunderous attack in the next moment. Kill him for me. Kill this little bastard. Steward Ma was on the verge of going crazy. His forelimbs had been broken by Ling Xiao, and he knelt on the ground in humiliation. He coughed up blood continuously, and his face was incomparably twisted. I advise you not to move. Otherwise, I'm afraid your end won't be much better than his. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Even though he was surrounded by several grandmasters, his expression was still very calm. The few grandmasters who were about to attack were stunned when they heard Ling Xiao's words, and they stopped in their tracks. Jiamo, I'm here. Get out here. A sharp glint flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. The aura in his body surged, and a thunderous voice erupted from his mouth, instantly reverberating through the entire spiritual medicine hall. Everyone was stunned, and then they looked at Ling Xiao as if they were looking at a fool. Was this young man really here to cause trouble? He had injured Steward Ma, yet he did not run away. Why did he have to alarm Master Jiumu with such momentum? Was he not afraid of death? A trace of resentment appeared in Steward Ma's eyes, but he did not stop Ling Xiao. When Master Jiamu came out, he would definitely let this kid die without a burial place. In a secret room in the spiritual medicine hall, Master Jiamu sat cross-legged in front of a red pill cauldron, but he looked a little dusty. Even his beard was a little burnt, and there were a few holes in his white robe. The pill cauldron in front of him was emitting black smoke, and there was a burnt smell coming from it. Failed again. Jiamu laughed bitterly and said, Old man, this sword heart pill is an ancient pill formula. The pill formula you gave me is still missing 2 spiritual herbs. Even though I found other spiritual herbs to replace them, it still seems to be missing something. I don't have any better ideas. Opposite Jiamu sat a middle-aged man with a face full of vicissitudes. His long hair fluttered in the wind, and he looked carefree and unruly. His face was elegant and extraordinary. With one look, one could tell that he was also a handsome man when he was young. He carried an ancient sword on his back, and his eyes were clear, emitting a faint trace of sharp sword light. Hearing Master Jiamu's words, the middle-aged man's eyes darkened. He laughed bitterly and said, We've already failed over 100 times in the past few days. It looks like this sword heart pill is really not fated with me. Forget it, old friend. I can't blame you for this. It looks like the heavens want to cut off my path to becoming a deva. Chapter 151. It's not impossible to refine the sword heart elixir. Jiamu thought for a while, and a strange light flashed in his eyes. Oh, what other ways are there? The middle-aged man's eyes lit up and he immediately asked. His cultivation had been stuck at the peak of the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm for many years, and he had never been able to step into the celestial being realm. This was because his sword heart was damaged, and there was no way to reflect his heart. The sword heart elixir was his only hope. The middle-aged man's name was Li Ling. He was known as the 3 Masters of Wine, Sword, and Alchemy. He was also known as the 3 Masters of Wine, Sword, and Alchemy. He was famous in the royal capital. Although he was only a 9th level Grandmaster, he had once fought with a celestial being expert with the sword in his hand and finally retreated calmly. Therefore, the 3 Masters of Wine was also known as the number 1 person below the celestial being realm in the Great Wilderness Ancient Kingdom. Old man, I told you before that when I went to the Longevity City this time, I became a disciple of a master. The pill formulas of the 5 Profound Spiritual Elixir, 6 Profound Spiritual Elixir, and 7 Profound Treasure Elixir were all given to me by my master. Jiao Mu's eyes revealed a trace of respect as he said slowly, If my master is here, he will definitely be able to refine the sword heart elixir. Jiao Mu's voice was filled with fanatical trust. Old friend, What kind of person is your master? I've asked you many times, but you refused to tell me. Could he be an alchemy grandmaster? You know, even the state preceptor and pure young spiritual master can't refine the sword heart elixir. Li Ling asked curiously. He could be considered outstanding. When his sword heart was damaged and his cultivation stagnated at the 9th level of the grandmaster realm, he switched to alchemy. He wanted to find a way to break through from alchemy, and was now an inferior alchemy grandmaster. Li Ling and Master Jiaomu had been old friends for decades. This time, Li Ling saw Jiaomu take out the complete 7 profound treasure elixir formula, so he was moved and wanted to refine the sword heart elixir with Jiaomu. He didn't expect that after countless failures, he still couldn't see any hope. Old friend, it's not that I don't want to tell you. It's just that without my master's permission, I can't say his name. Right now, I'm just a registered disciple of my master. Jiaomu laughed bitterly and said, But master is a peerless scholar. His alchemy Dao attainments surpass mine by 100, 1,000 times. The 7 profound treasure pills pill formula was passed down to me by master. If he was around, he could definitely complete the sword heart pills pill formula. Old friend, why don't you wait a little longer? It won't be long before my master comes to the capital. Oh, was he coming to the royal capital? Then I'll have to pay my respects to him. It's been many years since an alchemy grandmaster has appeared in our great desolation ancient kingdom. Li Ling's eyes also revealed a trace of yearning. Charred wood, I'm here. Why haven't you come out yet? At this moment, a drawn-out voice with a strange sound wave came through the secret room. Who dares to call you by your name? I'll go out and teach him a lesson. A sharp light flashed in Li Ling's eyes. Because of his repeated failures to concoct the sword heart pill, he was already in a bad mood. Now that he was disturbed in the secret room, a flame immediately rose in his heart. However, he suddenly realized that Master Jiaomu's entire body trembled, and his eyes revealed a look of pleasant surprise. Young Master Ling is here. Ha ha ha, he's finally here. Old man, there's hope for your sword heart pill. Jiaomu laughed loudly, appearing incomparably excited. He jumped up, opened the door of the secret room, and rushed outside. Who's young Master Ling? Li Ling's eyes were even more confused, but he still followed Jiaomu out. In the Spirit Medicine Pavilion's hall, Ling Xiao was surrounded by a few grandmaster powerhouses, but his expression was very calm, without a trace of fear. Those grandmasters also revealed strange looks in their eyes, but they did not immediately make a move. Ling Xiao's shout just now must have alarmed Master Jiaomu. One had to know that Master Jiaomu's temper was not good, especially when the old man was in seclusion to refine pills. Ling Xiao would probably end up in an extremely miserable state if he disturbed him like this. Steward Ma lay on the ground and screamed, but his eyes revealed an extremely venomous look. He stared at Ling Xiao, wanting to see what would happen to him. The manservant had long been scared stiff, and his heart was extremely bitter. He did not expect that his customer would actually act like he had lost his mind, and insist on disturbing Master Jiaomu. Great, if Ling Xiao was blamed by Master Jiaomu, he would definitely be implicated. It was not easy to find such a good job, but it seemed like it would go down the drain. However, what would happen to his sickly old mother who was still in bed? Thinking of this, the manservant's face became even paler. Who was calling me just now? An old and anxious voice sounded out. Immediately after, an old man with white hair and a beard rushed out from the back hall. His face was rosy, and his eyes flickered with the light of wisdom. His entire body emitted a blazing aura. As soon as he appeared in the hall, his eyes immediately fell on Ling Xiao, revealing an extremely excited expression. Master Jiaomu? It really is Master Jiaomu. Greetings, Master Jiaomu. Oh my god, I'm actually able to meet Master Jiaomu. It's such an honor. Master Jiaomu, thank you for your 6 profound spirit pill. It allowed me to break through to the Dragon Tiger realm. You don't know, but I've been stuck at the 9th layer of the spirit transformation realm for a full 10 years without being able to break through. Many cultivators' eyes lit up when they saw Master Jiaomu. Everyone bowed to Master Jiaomu in admiration, and their eyes were filled with gratitude. Steward Ma struggled to kneel and pointed at Ling Xiao while crying bitterly. Master Jiaomu, you have to uphold justice for me. This little bastard caused a ruckus in my spirit medicine pavilion, and even said that he wanted you to come see him. After I tried to dissuade him, not only did he not listen, he even seriously injured me. Master, this little bastard must have eaten a bear's heart and leopard's guts. He dared to call you by your name, and even asked you to come out. He doesn't put you in his eyes at all. You must kill this little bastard. After he finished speaking, Steward Ma looked at Ling Xiao with a face full of hatred. His eyes were filled with coldness. He knew very well that Master Jiaomu and Old Man Sanju were refining pills in seclusion, and had ordered that no one was to disturb them. Ling Xiao actually dared to call Master Jiaomu by his name, and even asked him to come out. He was simply courting death. Now Master Jiaomu had rushed out in such a hurry, and he looked very miserable. His beard was slightly burnt, and his clothes were tattered. Steward Ma smelled Master Jiaomu's aura and knew that Master Jiaomu must have failed this time. Perhaps it was because of Ling Xiao. He looked at Ling Xiao like he was looking at a dead man, waiting to see his miserable end. Chapter 152. Smack. A crisp sound resounded throughout the hall. Master Jiaomu slapped Steward Ma's face, causing him to spin a few rounds on the spot. He coughed up a mouthful of blood, and half of his face was swollen. Steward Ma was instantly stunned. Mas. Master, I didn't disturb your alchemy. It's this little bastard. It's him. Steward Ma's teeth were leaking as he spoke incoherently. He was so anxious that he was about to cry. Smack. Another crisp sound rang out. The other half of Steward Ma's face also swelled up, and a mouthful of teeth flew out along with blood. This time, he was sent flying and slammed into a pillar in the distance, coughing out large mouthfuls of blood. Everyone was dumbfounded. What was going on? Shouldn't Master Jiaomu be tearing this arrogant brat apart in a fit of rage? Why did he beat up Steward Ma? The cultivators and the Grand Master guards of the Elixir Pavilion were all dumbfounded. They didn't know what was going on. Blind dog slave, do you think you can scold young Master Ling? Not to mention that Ling Xiao only broke your limbs. Even if he killed you, you only have yourself to blame. Get out of my sight. Don't let me see you. Master Jiaomu looked at Steward Ma with disgust, then immediately looked at Ling Xiao with a fawning smile. Young Master Ling, when did you arrive at the capital? Why didn't you tell me in advance so that I could send someone to pick you up? Everyone was stunned. So this arrogant young man really knew Master Jiaomu. Moreover, seeing Master Jiaomu's respectful attitude made everyone even more shocked and curious about Ling Xiao. Who exactly was this young man? How could Master Jiaomu treat him so fawningly? Even the princes of the Grand Desolation Ancient Kingdom were incomparably respectful when they saw Master Jiaomu. Who in the entire Grand Desolation Ancient Kingdom could make Master Jiaomu put down his pride and fawn over him? Could it be someone from the martial Dao Holy Land? Everyone's hearts trembled, and their gazes toward Ling Xiao changed. They quietly revealed a trace of reverence. Master Jiaomu, I wouldn't dare to order you around. It's too difficult to enter the spiritual medicine hall. I was almost kicked out, let alone meet you. You're really a man of high status with many affairs. Ling Xiao glanced sideways at Master Jiaomu and said indifferently. The sweat on Master Jiaomu's forehead immediately broke out. He cursed Steward Ma's ancestors in his heart. Of all the people this dog could offend, he actually dared to offend Ling Xiao? Right now he was still a registered disciple. He was just waiting to become an official disciple and receive the true teachings of alchemy from Ling Xiao. Great! Now he had offended Ling Xiao before he had even done anything. As a result, Master Jiaomu also hated Steward Ma to the core. On the other hand, Steward Ma, who was lying on the ground and vomiting blood, shuddered all over. His eyes revealed an expression of extreme terror and disbelief. What? That little bastard was actually related to Great Master Jiaomu? And seeing how respectful Great Master Jiaomu was, he knew that their relationship was not trivial. He knew that he was finished. As expected, Great Master Jiaomu turned to look at Steward Ma and scolded him. Ma Feng, who allowed you to act on your own initiative and block young Master Ling outside? Do you know who young Master Ling is? He's one of my elders. You've really eaten a bear's heart and leopard's guts. You really deserve to die. Men drag him out and beat him to death. Jiamu's face darkened. He did not show any mercy, and was about to order people to beat Steward Ma to death. Li Ling, who came out with him, also looked at Ling Xiao in shock. Who exactly was this young man? How could he make the usually proud Jiamu behave so humbly? He was also more and more curious about Ling Xiao's identity. Beat him to death. Steward Ma's entire body trembled. His eyes immediately revealed an incomparably terrified expression as he roared. Master Jiamu, you can't kill me. You can't kill me. My brother-in-law is the deputy pavilion master. If you kill me, my brother-in-law will definitely not let you off. Oh, you actually dare to threaten me? A cold glint flashed across Jiamu's eyes. He immediately sneered and said, I'm going to kill you today. Let's see who can save you. Why aren't you doing it? Great Master Jiamu glanced at the few Grandmaster guards, and his voice became fierce. The few Guru Realm guards trembled all over. They immediately grabbed Steward Ma and dragged him outside. How could they dare to offend Great Master Jiamu? Great Master Jiamu was now a popular person in the entire capital. Even the state preceptor and spiritual master Chun Yang favored him. The Great Wilderness King had even summoned him several times and rewarded him with many treasures. In the current spiritual medicine pavilion, even the deputy pavilion masters could not compare to Great Master Jiamu. Ling Xiao watched all this coldly and did not stop them. To him, killing Steward Ma was just killing an evil slave. It was no big deal. Many warriors revealed shocked expressions in their eyes. Just one sentence from Ling Xiao, and Great Master Jiamu did not give the deputy pavilion master any face, and insisted on killing Steward Ma. Who exactly was this young man? They became more and more shocked and confused. Stop. Just as Steward Ma was about to be dragged out, a cold voice rang out. An old man in a black robe with a gloomy expression walked down from upstairs. The old man was very tall and had a very dignified face. There seemed to be a faint cold glint in his eyes, exuding an aura of someone who had been in a high position for a long time. He wore a black robe embroidered with a golden cauldron with 4 golden stars. He was also a low-grade alchemy master. It's Deputy Pavilion Master Chu Kunming. Immediately someone exclaimed, recognizing the old man's identity. Deputy Pavilion Master Chu Kunming was also a low-grade alchemy master, and his cultivation had reached the peak of the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm. He was a super powerhouse who was half a step into the celestial realm. Chu Kunming's new concubine was Steward Ma's sister. Great Master Jiamu wanted to kill Steward Ma, so Chu Kunming naturally could not stand by and watch. There was a good show to watch now. One was a high-ranking deputy pavilion master, and the other was the popular Great Master Jiamu of the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion. It would be interesting if these two people were to go head-to-head. Jiamu, even if Ma Feng was in the wrong, he doesn't deserve to die, right? He didn't know that this young man was acquainted with you. Moreover, this young man spoke rudely and made a scene in my spiritual medicine pavilion. I won't pursue the matter. I think this matter will end here. Chu Kunming's cold gaze swept across Ling Xiao, and finally looked at Great Master Jiamu as he spoke indifferently. As the deputy pavilion master, he naturally knew what was happening below. He did not appear before, but when he saw that Great Master Jiamu wanted to kill Steward Ma, he naturally could not sit still. Brother-in-law, you have to uphold justice for me. That little bastard deserves to die 1,000 times over. You must kill him. Chapter 153. Stop here. Jiamu's eyes flashed and he sneered. Chu Kunming, I'm afraid you don't even know who young Master Ling is to me. Young Master Ling is an elder of mine. Ma Feng dared to insult young Master Ling, which is the same as insulting me. He deserved to be beaten to death by me. So, I advise you to mind your own business. Otherwise, I won't hesitate even if the pavilion master finds out. Jiamu, don't go too far. Chu Kunming glared and said slowly. Who's going too far? Ma Feng usually bullies customers, drives up the prices of spiritual herbs and spiritual pills, and even kidnaps women. He's done many things to ruin the reputation of the spiritual medicine pavilion. But of all the things he shouldn't have done, he shouldn't have offended young Master Ling. No one can save him today. He's dead for sure, Jiao Mu said tit for tat, and there was a hint of determination in his eyes. Chu Kunming's face darkened and he sneered. Good. Jiao Mu, I'll stay here today. I'd like to see how you're going to kill him. Is that so? Master Jiao Mu's eyes flashed, and he exuded a powerful aura as he walked toward Steward Ma. Although Jiao Mu devoted all his attention to alchemy, he was still a 7th-level grandmaster. At this moment, his cultivation erupted, and he was not inferior to Chu Kunming at all. Boom! A powerful shockwave swept out, but Chu Kunming and Master Jiao Mu knew that this was the spiritual medicine pavilion, so they restrained themselves. Although they were confronting each other, their auras were restrained to 3 feet around them. Otherwise, if they completely erupted, the spiritual pills and spiritual herbs in the spiritual medicine pavilion would be in trouble. Jiao Mu, not to mention that you can't kill Ma Feng today. Even if you kill Ma Feng, this brat will die for sure. Chu Kunming looked at Ling Xiao with murderous intent. His eyes were gloomy and full of murderous intent. He was threatening Master Jiao Mu. He wanted to use Ling Xiao's life to force Master Jiao Mu to let go and spare Steward Ma's life. Now, it was not just because of his relationship with Steward Ma that he was going to save him. More importantly, if he lowered his head in front of Master Jiao Mu, how could he be a deputy pavilion master in the future? After all, Master Jiao Mu was just an elder in the spiritual medicine pavilion. You dare to threaten me? Master Jiao Mu's eyes flashed, and his gaze became extremely cold. He was extremely respectful to Ling Xiao, and had willingly acknowledged Ling Xiao as his master. Now that Chu Kunming had actually used Ling Xiao to threaten him, he was instantly infuriated. He also began to hesitate. After all, Ling Xiao was only at the spirit transformation realm. If Chu Kunming was truly enraged and recklessly attacked, Ling Xiao would not be his match. Seeing Grandmaster Jiao Mu hesitate, Chu Kunming continued, Jiao Mu, why don't we both take a step back? That young man forced his way into my spiritual medicines pavilion. Even if Ma Feng's words were inappropriate, he shouldn't have crippled all 4 of his limbs. Tell Ling Xiao to kneel down and apologize to Ma Feng. Then this matter will be resolved. Little bastard, kneel down and apologize to me. Then my brother-in-law will spare your dog life. Ma Feng was like a loyal lackey as he sneered. Master Jiao Mu and Ling Xiao were both slightly taken aback. Ask Ling Xiao to kneel down and apologize to Ma Feng? Chu Kunming's intentions were truly sinister. If Ling Xiao were to kneel down and apologize to Chu Kunming, then where would Jiao Mu's old face go? Chu Kunming, you're courting death. Grandmaster Jiao Mu was instantly enraged. His aura surged, and his aura grew stronger and stronger. His eyes revealed an incomparably cold light. Truly, the ignorant are fearless. Ling Xiao, who had been watching coldly from the sidelines, laughed at this moment. Ling Xiao's gaze landed on Steward Ma as he said indifferently, Originally, you were already a dead man in my eyes. No matter who comes, it's all the same. However, some people are actually stupid enough to threaten me. Since that's the case, then you'd better die. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. Suddenly, a faint golden light spread out from his hands. A few golden sword rays shot through the air, and shot toward Ma Feng like lightning. Ling Xiao's attack was like thunder from the 9 heavens. Before anyone could react, the sword rays had already arrived before Steward Ma. How dare you? Chu Kunming's expression changed. He had never thought that Ling Xiao would dare to attack Steward Ma. Moreover, those few unparalleled sword radiances contained a force that could pierce through everything. They were extremely fast. Without thinking, Chu Kunming's powerful innate gang qi surged and swept towards those few sword radiances. Chu Kunming, you'd better stop for a moment. Jiao Mu sneered and also struck with his palm. There was a slight explosion in the void, and a crimson divine light spread out. Boom! Chu Kunming's aura was cut off by Master Jiao Mu. The 2 palms collided in the void. Instantly, their bodies trembled and they retreated a few steps. Poof! At the same time, the sword ray that Ling Xiao shot out instantly pierced through Steward Ma's glabella. A trace of blood exploded and Steward Ma's eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. His head tilted to one side, and he fell to the ground dead. He did not expect that he would still die at Ling Xiao's hands even under Chu Kunming's protection. Little bastard, you're courting death. Chu Kunming's expression instantly turned ashen. Flames of fury burned in his eyes as he leaped toward Ling Xiao. Old friend, why aren't you attacking? What are you standing there for? Master Jiaomu's expression changed instantly. He glanced at Li Ling in the distance and turned to pounce on Chu Kunming. Chu Kunming, if you dare to hurt young Master Ling, I won't rest until you're dead. Jiaomu roared. He unleashed all his cultivation and charged toward Chu Kunming. You only know how to find trouble for me. Li Ling grumbled. However, a sharp divine light shot out from his originally languid eyes. The ancient sword behind him was unsheathed and turned into a stream of light that shot across the sky. Clang! The sound of the sword was clear. The snow-white sword rays surged, exuding an unparalleled power. In an instant, it blocked Ling Xiao's attack and destroyed all of Chu Kunming's aura. Boom! The ancient sword was pointed at Chu Kunming. Li Ling's temperament changed drastically. At this moment, it was as if he had transformed from a wretched old man into a peerless sword god. His entire body exuded a sharp aura. Li Ling, how dare you stop me? Chu Kunming was furious. His eyes flashed with a light that seemed to be about to devour someone. Deputy Pavilion Master Chu, Ma Feng only has himself to blame. Even death can't wipe out his crimes. I advise you not to act rashly. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Li Ling said indifferently, not backing down. Chapter 154. Li Ling, this is a matter of the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion. How dare you interfere? Are you trying to provoke a war between the Li family and the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion? I advise you to think carefully. Chu Kunming said coldly. Li Ling's family was considered the top family in the entire Great Wilderness ancient country. Like the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion, they had a prominent status. It was impossible for the two forces to be at odds over a small matter like Ling Xiao. A war between the Li family and the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion? Deputy Pavilion Leader Chu, I'm afraid you can't represent the Spiritual Medicine Pavilion. Besides, I'll do it if I want to. I don't like you today. This little brother has a good temper. I won't let you kill him. What can you do? Li Ling said without giving in. His words made Chu Kunming fly into a rage. You! Chu Kunming was furious, but he did not dare to vent his anger. Li Ling was not someone to be trifled with, so he transferred all his anger to Ling Xiao. Little bastard, you'd better pray that old man Sanju will always protect you. Otherwise, I can't guarantee that you won't die a tragic death. Chu Kunming's cold eyes fell on Ling Xiao. He did not hide the threat in his words. Master Jiaomu's expression changed. He shouted angrily, Chu Kunming, if anything happens to young Master Ling, I'll fight you to the death. And me? Li Ling was also angered by Chu Kunming. He did not expect that Chu Kunming would dare to threaten him while he was still here. He sneered and said, Deputy Pavilion Leader Chu, if anything happens to this little brother, I'll let you take 3 moves of my Sky Extinction Sword. Chu Kunming's expression changed slightly. Li Ling's Sky Extinction Sword was Li Ling's ultimate move. Once the sword was out, the wind and clouds would surge and the sky would change color. It could erupt with power comparable to the celestial realm. Master Jiaomu was fine, but Li Ling was determined to protect Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao sneered and glanced at Chu Kunming. Old man, those who dare to threaten me have a miserable ending. I believe you're no exception. How dare an old man of the Grandmaster realm speak so arrogantly? I think you're tired of living. Ling Xiao's words immediately made Chu Kunming fly into a rage. However, before he could say anything, Ling Xiao looked at Master Jiaomu and asked calmly, Master Jiaomu, how much can you get from selling a 5 profound spiritual pill or a 6 profound spiritual pill? Ling Xiao's question immediately caused Chu Kunming's expression to change drastically. Master Jiaomu was also taken aback. Ling Xiao had been scolding Chu Kunming just a second ago, but in the next second, he had asked this question. Wasn't this a little too sudden? However, Jiaomu still replied honestly, Young Master Ling, The sales of the 5 profound spirit pills and 6 profound spirit pills in the capital city are extremely good. This old man is also lazy, so he entrusted the sales to our spirit medicine pavilion. A 5 profound spirit pill can fetch me 200 peerless grade spirit stones, and a 6 profound spirit pill can fetch me 1,000 peerless grade spirit stones. Master Jiaomu was a little proud. After all, the 5 profound spirit pills and 6 profound spirit pills only consumed some ordinary spirit herbs. The cost was very low, so he could make 10 times the profit. Usually, he lived in seclusion and didn't care about the outside world at all. Thus, he wasn't clear about the actual sales of these 2 spirit pills. He only received a fixed dividend. However, the way everyone looked at Master Jiaomu changed instantly. It was as if they were looking at a fool. The 5 profound spirit pill was sold for 1,000 peerless grade spirit stones, and Master Jiaomu could only get 100? And the 6 profound spirit pill was sold for 10,000 peerless grade spirit stones, and Master Jiaomu could only get 1,000? Was Master Jiaomu's brain fried? How could he let the spirit medicine pavilion take such a huge advantage? At this time, even a fool would know that there was a problem. Seeing the strange look on everyone's face and Ling Zhao's faint smile, Jiaomu was a little puzzled. He asked softly, "Young Master Ling, is there a problem with these 2 spirit pills?" "There's no problem with the spirit pills, but there's something wrong with your brain," Ling Zhao said indifferently. Then he glanced at Chu Kunming and said, "Master Jiaomu, can you ask the spirit medicine pavilion how much these 2 spirit pills are selling for?" Chu Kunming's face turned extremely ugly when he heard Ling Zhao's question. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Master Jiaomu was completely confused. However, when he found out the price of the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill, he was instantly enraged. His face was filled with shame and anger as he glared at Chu Kunming. His eyes were about to spit fire. "Chu Kunming, how dare you trick me?" His angry voice rang out in the spirit medicine pavilion. Master Jiaomu was about to explode from anger. No wonder everyone looked at him, as if he was an idiot. He was really an idiot. The 5 profound spirit pill, he had only obtained a mere 1/5 of it. What was worse was that he only got 1/10 of the 6 profound spirit pill. Out of 10,000 peerless grade spirit stones, he was only given 1,000. Was this a beggar? One had to know that the spirit medicine pavilion only provided some spirit herbs, and these 2 spirit pills were personally refined by Master Jiaomu. Jiaomu was so embarrassed that he wanted to find a hole to hide in. This was too fucking embarrassing. "Jiaomu, don't slander me. We had an agreement back then. You were the one who suggested the price of the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill. As for the price, it's my business. It has nothing to do with you." Chu Kunming sneered coldly. "But you told me that the 5 profound spirit pill would be sold for 300 peerless grade spirit stones, and the 6 profound spirit pill would be sold for 2,000 peerless grade spirit stones. Otherwise, why would I agree to such conditions? Chu Kunming, you old bastard. Even if you bring this matter to the pavilion master, I won't hesitate. Just you wait. I think you've reached the end of your vice pavilion master career." Master Jiaomu was so angry that smoke was coming out of his 7 orifices. His eyes were burning with rage as he pointed at Chu Kunming and roared. Everyone was in an uproar. What? The 5 profound spirit pill was only sold for 300 peerless grade spirit stones? And the 6 profound spirit pill is only sold for 2,000 peerless grade spirit stones? Fuck, that old bastard Chu Kunming is really evil. He's openly deceiving us. I knew it. These 2 spirit pills are too expensive. No, I must tell my family to cut off all ties with Chu Kunming. Me too. I'll ban that old bastard. Everyone began to get agitated. Chu Kunming had made them spend several times the price. Everyone had become spendthrifts. This move of Chu Kunming's was really smooth. As an elder of the Spirit Medicine's Pavilion, Master Jiaomu usually focused on alchemy and did not care about worldly matters. Naturally, he would not ask about such a small matter like the price of the spirit pills. Therefore, this was a loophole that Chu Kunming caught. With this in and out, Chu Kunming was probably earning much more than Master Jiaomu. He was simply toying with Master Jiaomu like a monkey. But which one of these cultivators did not have a strong backing? With everyone targeting Chu Kunming at the same time, this old bastard would probably not be able to survive in the capital anymore. Chu Kunming's face turned incomparably ugly. He knew that he had really angered everyone this time. But all of this was caused by Ling Xiao. If not for Ling Xiao, nothing would have happened. Chapter 155. Ling Xiao's expression was indifferent, and his eyes narrowed slightly. He could feel that Chu Kunming wanted to kill him. It seemed that exposing Chu Kunming in public not only made him lose face, but also made him a target of scorn. He probably wouldn't be able to survive in the capital in the future. Brat, I'll remember you. Just you wait. Chu Kunming glanced at Ling Xiao coldly, then turned and left. Young Master Ling, I messed up. Jiamu looked at Ling Xiao in shame, his old face red. Ling Xiao gave him the pill formulas of the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill. In the end, he was taken for a fool. Thinking of how he showed off to Ling Xiao previously, Jiamu was so embarrassed that he wanted to find a hole to hide in. Forget it. Just be more careful in the future, Ling Xiao said indifferently. He didn't care about this matter. Yes. Jiamu nodded seriously. Jiamu turned to look at the crowd and smiled slightly. Everyone, I'm really sorry that such a thing happened to my spirit medicine pavilion. We've made a fool of ourselves. I hereby announce that from now on, each 5 profound spirit pill will only be sold for 500 supreme grade spirit stones. And each 6 profound spirit pill will only be sold for 5,000 supreme grade spirit stones. I hope that everyone will continue to support my spirit medicine pavilion. Everyone was slightly stunned, then became wild with joy. They didn't expect that the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill would actually be reduced in price. This was a 50% discount. The discount was too great. One had to know that the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill sales in the entire capital were very good. It was simply hard to get a single pill. Some people even resold the pill for several times the price after buying it. Therefore, Jiamu's decision was no different from a pie falling from the sky to everyone, making them dizzy. Many thanks, Master Jiamu. Master Jiamu is righteous. I thank Master Jiamu for his generosity on behalf of the martial artists in the capital. Master, I've decided. In the future, our palace's spirit pills will be supplied by the Spirit Medicine Pavilion. Master, in the future, all the spirit medicines sold to the Spirit Medicine Pavilion will be sold at a 20% discount. Everyone looked emotional as they bowed deeply to Master Jiamu. All right, everyone, disperse. Master Jiamu smiled, then glanced at Ling Xiao and said softly, Young Master Ling, please come in. Ling Xiao nodded, and then he glanced at the attendant that had been scared silly from before and said, Jiamu, this young man isn't bad. Let him replace Manager Ma in the future. No problem. Lu Cheng, you'll be in charge from now on. Work hard. Jiamu patted Lu Cheng's shoulder and smiled encouragingly. Then he turned around and led Ling Xiao to the back hall. Lu Cheng shuddered as if he had just woken up from a dream. I'm in charge? Lu Cheng was still in disbelief, as if he was in a dream. Congratulations, Steward Lu. Steward Lu, please take care of us brothers in the future. Steward Lu, who exactly is that young Master Ling? Even Grandmaster Jiamu is so respectful? Brother Lu Cheng, you've caught young Master Ling's eye. Your future is limitless. When the manservants saw Master Jiamu and Ling Xiao leave, they immediately surrounded Lu Cheng, their faces filled with envy. I don't know young Master Ling's identity either. But everyone, work hard in the future. Without Ma Feng's oppression, I believe everyone will have a much better life in the future. Lu Cheng only reacted after a while. He smiled bitterly and revealed a hint of authority as a steward, letting everyone go back to work. His gaze towards the back hall was filled with deep gratitude. Receiving young Master Ling was probably the luckiest thing that had ever happened to him. He also secretly made up his mind to work hard and not embarrass young Master Ling. Ling Xiao had only promoted Lu Cheng in passing. The main reason was that he felt that this young man was not bad. He was neither servile nor overbearing, And he did not have the snobbish attitude of ordinary servants. He did things seriously and seriously. Such a person would be considered a talent no matter where he went. In the back hall of the spiritual medicine hall, in the secret chamber, Ling Xiao had just sat down when Master Jiaomu instantly knelt down respectfully. Master, disciple Jiaomu greets Master. Jiaomu's action instantly gave Li Ling a huge shock. Old fellow, what did you say? This little brother is your master? Li Ling's voice stuttered, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. He was still guessing who Ling Xiao was to actually make this old friend of his, who had always been arrogant, so respectful. And when Ling Xiao reprimanded him, he was even willing to endure it. But no matter how he thought about it, he never thought that Ling Xiao was actually Jiaomu's master. This young man looked no more than 15 or 16 years old. His face was very delicate, and his eyes were very bright like the stars. He exuded an indifferent aura from head to toe. Sitting there, he had an imposing aura that made people easily forget his age. Even if this young man looked quite talented, even if he started cultivating alchemy in his mother's womb. How long had it been? He could actually make Jiaomu acknowledge him as his master? That's right. Old fellow, young Master Ling is indeed my master. His attainments in alchemy are 100 times, 1,000 times better than mine. The 5 profound spirit pill, 6 profound spirit pill, and 7 profound treasure pill were all bestowed to me by young Master Ling. If you want to refine the sword heart pill, others may not be able to, but Master definitely can. Master Jiaomu said seriously. Jiaomu, get up first? You said the sword heart pill. Could it be the sword heart treasure pill from ancient times that could cleanse the sword heart and increase mentality? Ling Xiao motioned for Jiaomu to stand up, but after hearing Jiaomu's words, his eyes immediately revealed a glimmer of light. Master, you really know about the sword heart pill? Jiaomu's eyes immediately revealed an incomparably pleasantly surprised expression as he asked. Li Ling was also somewhat shocked. The sword heart pill was an ancient pill formula. One had to know that many alchemy masters might not have heard of it, but Ling Xiao actually knew about it, and seemed to be very familiar with it. His attainments in alchemy were actually that high? But how old was he? The sword heart pill is a kind of treasure pill from ancient times. It was passed down from medicine celestial venerable 10,000 years ago. It's a kind of unorthodox treasure pill. The sword heart pill is of no use to the average person, but to people who cultivate the sword Tao, it has a very miraculous effect. It can cleanse the sword heart, increase mentality, and use the sword heart to reflect the heart of heaven, comprehending the realm of heaven-man unity. Ling Zhao's eyes flickered with a wise light. He glanced at Li Ling indifferently and said, If I didn't guess wrongly, you were once a pure sword cultivator, but you suffered a setback in a battle with someone, causing your sword heart to be damaged. You were unable to become one with Heaven Man all along and stepped into the Deva realm. It's you who wants to obtain the sword heart pill, right? Ling Zhao's words made Master Jiaomu's heart burst with joy. His face was full of admiration. But Li Ling's heart was incomparably shocked. The last bit of contempt he had for Ling Xiao also disappeared. Ling Zhao's understanding of the sword heart pill was even more than his. This youth really possessed unimaginable attainments in alchemy. Chapter 156. Li Ling immediately put down his last bit of restraint and said bitterly, Young Master Ling, it's true that I need the sword heart pill. 30 years ago, when I broke through to the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm, I thought that my sword Tao was unparalleled. I advanced bravely and challenged all the heroes in the world, but I was defeated with a single strike and my sword heart was broken. As a result, I wasted 30 years and couldn't break through. In these 30 years, I studied alchemy and flipped through ancient books. Finally, I found the sword heart pill. It can cleanse my sword heart and help me break through again. But I only got an incomplete formula, and there are a few missing spirit herbs. Master Jiaomu and I tried hundreds of times, but all of them failed. Master Jiaomu also asked expectantly, Master, can you refine the sword heart pill? As he spoke, Master Jiaomu handed an ancient formula to Ling Xiao. Sword heart pill. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. He was no stranger to the sword heart pill. In his previous life, as the sky-devouring supreme, his attainments in alchemy were unparalleled in the world. He was known as the two great alchemy gods with the medicine Celestial Venerable at that time. He had once discussed alchemy with the medicine Celestial Venerable at the peak of Kunlun for 7 days and 7 nights. He had also seen the sword heart pill from the medicine Celestial Venerable. But how could the refining of the sword heart pill be so simple? Ling Xiao's expression did not change as he said indifferently, "Yes." "Really?" Master Jiao Mu and Li Ling looked at each other, their eyes revealing incomparable excitement. "But why should I refine the sword heart pill for you?" Ling Xiao glanced at Li Ling and said slowly. Li Ling's expression froze, and he immediately laughed bitterly. Ling Xiao was Master Jiao Mu's master, and had no relations with him. It was indeed impossible for him to refine the sword heart pill for him. "Young Master Ling, as long as you can help me refine the sword heart pill, whether it's spirit stones or other treasures, it won't be a problem," Li Ling said seriously. His clan was one of the top clans in the entire royal capital. Naturally, they did not lack cultivation resources. "Do you think I lack these resources?" Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Li Ling was stunned. Ling Xiao could even casually take out formulas like the 5 profound spirit pill and 6 profound spirit pill. Naturally, he would not lack these resources. "Young Master Ling, what do you need? As long as you tell me, even if I have to search the entire Great Desolation ancient country, I will find it for you," Li Ling said firmly. "My condition is very simple." Ling Xiao smiled slightly and said, "I'll help you refine the sword heart pill and help you break through to the heaven realm. You have to join the longevity sect for 10 years and become the Tao Guardian Elder of the longevity sect. After 10 years, whether you leave or stay, it's all up to you. What do you think?" Longevity sect. Li Ling's expression turned strange. He was already prepared for Ling Xiao to demand an exorbitant price, but he did not expect Ling Xiao to actually raise such a condition. "All right, I agree." Li Ling only pondered for a moment before agreeing to it. Although he had a family behind him, ever since his sword heart was damaged, he had been wandering in the mortal world and had little contact with his family. Since he didn't belong to any sect, it was not a bad thing for him to become a guardian elder of a sect. Moreover, it was only for 10 years. After 10 years, he would regain his freedom. Master Jiao Mu's expression was also a little strange. He knew that his master never did business without capital. Letting Li Ling become the longevity sect's Tao Guardian Elder might seem simple, but it was probably not that easy. Li Ling might not even know that Ling Xiao had sold him. However, knowing Ling Xiao's character, Master Jiao Mu was not worried about anything. He chuckled and did not say anything else. "Very good. I believe Elder Li will definitely not regret it." Ling Xiao smiled slightly and said, "Since that's the case, then I'll open the furnace and refine the sword heart pill for Elder Li." Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief. In fact, he was also afraid that Li Ling would not agree. The reason why he valued Li Ling so much was not only because Li Ling was about to break through to the heaven realm and wanted to recruit an expert for the longevity sect. More importantly, Ling Xiao discovered that Li Ling's bloodline was very unusual. He actually possessed the legendary Sky Sword bloodline. The Sky Sword bloodline could be said to be born for the sword. It was a genius born to cultivate the way of the sword. In his previous life, Ling Xiao had once seen a possessor of the Sky Sword bloodline, who entered the way of the sword, and rushed into the supreme realm in just a few decades. Moreover, sword cultivators were very terrifying and their combat strength was extremely strong. Any expert who could become a supreme realm expert with the way of the sword was an invincible existence in the same realm. Therefore, how could Ling Xiao let go of such a person with the potential to become a supreme realm expert? Although Li Ling looked very old, his actual age was only in his 50s. 30 years ago, he was only in his 20s. At that time, he was already a powerhouse at the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm. It was enough to show his terrifying talent. Moreover, Ling Xiao also sensed that Li Ling's Sky Sword bloodline had not been activated, so his true terrifying talent had not erupted yet. This time, Ling Xiao could be said to have picked up a treasure. The reason why Ling Xiao said that he would protect him for 10 years was that he was confident that after 10 years, Li Ling would be completely loyal to the longevity sect. Boom. A light flashed in Ling Xiao's hand, and the Six Suns cauldron appeared in front of him. This is a mid-grade treasure? Jiaomu was shocked. He did not expect Ling Xiao to use a mid-grade treasure right away. One had to know that a mid-grade treasure cauldron was even more precious than a high-grade treasure. In the entire Great Barren Ancient Kingdom, only the Grand Tutor and the Pure Sun Spiritual Master each had a mid-grade treasure cauldron. However, what shocked Jiaomu the most was that in order to activate a mid-grade treasure cauldron to refine pills, one had to be at least in the Grandmaster realm. However, Ling Xiao looked like he was only in the spirit transformation realm. Could he really activate a mid-grade treasure cauldron? Li Ling also revealed a similarly shocked expression. Take out all the spiritual herbs you have collected. Ling Xiao saw the doubt in Master Jiaomu and Li Ling's eyes. He smiled faintly and did not explain. Master Jiaomu and Li Ling quickly took out all the spiritual herbs they had collected to refine the sword heart pill. Spiritual herbs are enough. Ling Xiao looked at the elixirs and nodded. In fact, the sword heart pill had another effect that Ling Xiao did not mention. It could activate the sword Dao bloodline, especially the top-grade sky sword bloodline in Li Ling's body. Ling Xiao was 90% confident that he could completely activate the sky sword bloodline in Li Ling's body with the sword heart pill. At that time, Li Ling's peerless talent would completely erupt. Boom. The Six Suns cauldron landed in the center of the secret chamber. Ling Xiao patted the cauldron and a blazing flame rose up, enveloping the entire cauldron. The flame emitted a faint five-colored light. It was mysterious and there were strange runes intertwining. The Six Suns cauldron seemed to be drowned in flames. The array on the cauldron was also activated. 6 bright little suns began to appear, looking very strange. Using the true fire in his body to refine pills? Isn't young Master Ling too arrogant? Old man, even if you want to refine pills with the true fire in your body, it should be very difficult, right? Li Ling's eyes flashed as he saw the scene before him and whispered. Li Ling also had the attainments of a low-grade alchemy master. Naturally, he knew how difficult it was to refine pills with the true fire in his body. Unless one's cultivation had reached the celestial realm, the true fire in his body would grow and multiply endlessly. Only then would he be able to refine pills with the true fire at will. Otherwise, even Master Jiaomu and Li Ling could only rely on the earth fire. Therefore, Ling Xiao's true fire pill refinement shocked him instantly. And what exactly was that five-colored flame? It looked countless times stronger than the earth fire. Could it be the legendary true fire of heaven and earth? Chapter 157. The Six Sun Cauldron shone brightly, illuminating Ling Xiao's calm and indifferent gaze. Although Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the first level of the Dragon Tiger realm, his heaven-devouring spiritual seed had reached perfection. The heaven-devouring true qi in his body was endless. Using the heaven-devouring true qi in his body to refine pills wasn't a problem. Moreover, the sword heart pill was very special. It was worth his full effort. Buzz. The Six Sun Cauldron floated in the sea of fire. 6 bright little suns appeared, causing the Six Sun Cauldron to emit a faint medicinal fragrance. As the temperature in the Six Sun Cauldron increased, Ling Xiao sprinkled the spiritual herbs needed to refine the sword heart pill into the Six Sun Cauldron. Golden flames filled the air, and strands of them intertwined. The spirit herbs were separated from each other, turning into golden spirit herb essences. The interior of the Six Sun Cauldron was like a starry sky. The stars gathered and rotated slowly, emitting a strange fluctuation. Ling Xiao's alchemy technique shocked Li Ling again. After all, most alchemists would refine spiritual herbs one by one. To be able to refine all the spiritual herbs at the same time as Ling Xiao was simply a divine skill that was unheard of. However, Master Jiaomu was already used to it. At this moment, his eyes were filled with excitement as he carefully observed Ling Xiao's refining technique. Every time he watched Ling Xiao refine pills, it was a kind of enjoyment. It was as if he had become one with the surrounding heaven and earth. There was a strange rhythm and beauty. Master Jiaomu knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Watching Ling Xiao refine pills once was better than fumbling around alone. Boom. The medicinal fragrance in the sixth sun cauldron grew stronger and stronger. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Suddenly, 5 blazing divine lights shot out from his palm and shot toward the sixth sun cauldron. Roar! A clear dragon's roar sounded. The 5 divine lights were very strange. They turned into white, green, black, red, and yellow flame dragons. They looked lifelike and instantly merged into the sixth sun cauldron. The sixth sun cauldron trembled slightly. The galaxy formed by the spiritual herb essences suddenly exploded. Rumble. It was as if there was a blazing flash of lightning, and all the essences of the spiritual herbs exploded with a bang. Then they condensed together and turned into an incomparably resplendent spiritual pearl. The 5 flame dragons swam around the spiritual pearl. Every time, they would spit out 5 colored flames that slowly merged into the spiritual pearl. This is 5 dragons playing with a pearl. Master Jiaomu's eyes shook, and he immediately revealed a look of ecstasy. He had once seen Ling Xiao use the 2 dragons playing with a pearl technique to refine the dragon transformation pill. Furthermore, Ling Xiao had once said that his fire control technique was based on the 2 dragons playing with a pearl technique, with the 9 dragons playing with a pearl technique being the peak. 2 dragons playing with a pearl could increase the success rate by 20%, and there was an even greater chance of a flawless treasure pill appearing. 3 dragons playing with a pearl increased the success rate by 30%. All the way to 9 dragons playing with a pearl increased the success rate by 90%. In other words, if one could master the 9 dragons playing with pearl's fire control technique, no matter how difficult the pill was to concoct, one could still achieve a 90% success rate. It had to be known that the more basic the pill, the higher the success rate. However, for spirit pills, treasure pills, Tao pills, and even supreme pills, the higher the level, the lower the success rate. Even if it was an alchemy Tao supreme, the success rate of refining the supreme pill might only be 10 to 20%. However, the 9 dragons playing with pearl's fire control technique was the most perfect fire control technique. No matter what kind of pill it was, it could reach a terrifying 90% success rate. In his previous life, Ling Xiao had once used the 9 dragons playing with pearl's fire control technique to refine a peerless divine pill that shocked the world. Therefore, Ling Xiao and Medicine Empyrean were also known as the 2 great alchemy gods of the war god continent 10,000 years ago. They were the titans of the alchemy world, and were madly worshipped by countless alchemists. Although Jiamu was only Ling Xiao's in-name disciple, after observing his temperament, Ling Xiao had also taught him the 2 dragons playing with pearl's fire control technique. It was just that Master Jiamu had studied it for a long time before he could grasp the knack of it. If he wanted to completely master it, it would still take a long time. Now that he had seen Ling Xiao's 5 dragons playing with pearl's fire control technique, it would be very beneficial for him to comprehend the 2 dragons playing with pearl. Buzz. Buzz. 5 flame dragons coiled around the pearl in the center, which was resplendent and dazzling, and emitted an incomparably rich medicinal fragrance. Wisps of 5 colored flames merged into the pearl, and the pearl began to undergo a strange change. An incomparably sharp sword beam slowly formed. The pearl looked incomparably round, but it emitted a strange sharpness that caused the sixth sun cauldron to begin buzzing and trembling. Next is the most crucial moment. Jiamu and Li Ling looked at each other, feeling a little nervous. Although the 2 of them were convinced by Ling Xiao's alchemy technique, this was the most difficult part of the sword heart pill. This was because the sword heart pill needed to add 2 types of spirit herbs. Master Jiamu and Li Ling had tried many times to add these 2 spirit herbs, but they had all failed. They hoped that Ling Xiao would succeed, but they couldn't help but feel a little apprehensive. A swordsman's sharpness. At this moment, Ling Xiao actually opened his eyes. There seemed to be a peerless sharpness in his eyes as he stared at Jiamu and Li Ling. The Tao of the sword heart is one that would rather break than bend. The so-called sword heart is one that would rather be obtained directly than bent. The medicinal power of the sword heart pill cannot be forcefully fused. It can only be stronger. The sword heart can break the heavens, slash the universe, and annihilate the world. This is the Tao of the sword heart pill, and also the path to refining the sword heart pill. Ling Xiao's voice was like a morning bell and evening drum, ringing in the ears of Master Jiamu and Li Ling. So, Let's completely erupt. The sharpness in Ling Xiao's eyes flickered to the extreme. Then, a ball of golden blood flew out and instantly fused into the 6-yang cauldron. That ball of golden blood contained the most blazing sharpness. It instantly enveloped the spirit pearl formed from the spirit herb essence. That was the essence blood of the chaos demon ape, which contained the essence of the boundless gung metal sword qi. Boom! The spirit pearl exploded with a bang, and even the 5-colored flame dragon turned into a blazing divine light at the same time. The 6-yang cauldron trembled violently. Seeing that the divine light was about to rush out, Ling Xiao formed a seal with both hands and pressed down with his palm. Boom! After all the divine light exploded, it was suppressed back by Ling Xiao's palm, slowly turning into a ball of the most blazing light. Buzz! As if there was a clear sword hum, the 6-yang cauldron trembled, and ripples began to appear in the void. Ling Xiao spat out a breath sword from his mouth, and the 6-yang cauldron landed on the ground with a bang. Endless smoothness spewed out, and an incomparably sharp sword pill rushed out from within. The sword pill bloomed with brilliance, as if billions of sword beams were flickering, about to slash through heaven and earth, emitting the purest sword intent. Ling Xiao waved his hand, and the sword pill landed in his palm. Chapter 158. This is the sword heart pill. Ling Xiao handed it to Li Ling, his eyes revealing a trace of emotion. So that's how it is. We were wrong from the start. Master Jiaomu was shocked for a long time. Incomparably excited look suddenly surged in his eyes, and he started dancing with joy. The sword heart pill is to enter the sword Dao with alchemy Dao. It's not a simple spirit pill. Therefore, the spirit medicines used in the sword heart pill all contain heptametal attribute. With so much heptametal power intertwined together, we shouldn't think of ways to fuse it together, but should let this sharpness become even purer. A swordsman is tranquil and straight. Unparalleled sharpness. The reason why the sword heart pill can cleanse the sword heart is because of this tranquil and unyielding sword intent sharpness. Losing this sword intent, the sword heart pill is not the sword heart pill at all. Turns out that we were wrong from the start. Jiamu's eyes were filled with excitement, so agitated that even his beard curled up. He felt as if Ling Xiao had opened a door for him. It turned out that the mysteries of alchemy Dao were not limited to medicinal stones. There were also the myriad Dao of heaven and earth and the power of creation. The pinnacle of alchemy Dao, perhaps the myriad Dao of the heavens, could be fused into a medicinal pill. Boom! Jiamu felt his mind clear up. Boundless and unparalleled mental strength suddenly erupted, instantly breaking through the bottleneck and officially stepping into the realm of middle-grade alchemy master. Many thanks for master's guidance. Jiamu bowed towards Ling Xiao willingly, his eyes full of reverence. When he thought that he saw Ling Xiao's alchemy Dao attainments, he discovered that what Ling Xiao revealed was only the tip of the iceberg. Ling Xiao's attainments in alchemy Dao already reached a realm that he could not imagine. No need to thank me. I didn't expect that you actually have such comprehension ability in alchemy Dao. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, his eyes revealing a trace of a strange light. For Master Jiamu to be able to break through just based on his words, it was admittedly because Master Jiamu had long reached the peak of low-grade alchemy master. It was also because his comprehension ability was astonishing. Ling Xiao also attached some importance to Jiamu. Jiamu's talent did not look good, but he had a fanatical heart that yearned for alchemy Dao. Furthermore, his comprehension ability was also extraordinary. Such a person would definitely be able to make a name for himself in the path of alchemy Dao. And Ling Xiao's eyes flickered. He felt a trace of pure sword will, and immediately turned to look at Li Ling. A swordsman is sharp. The Dao of the sword heart Dao, rather break than bend. The so-called of the heart of sword Dao is heart is heart I Ling Xiao sword hearts Dao, Lings of Dao. Gradually his eyes began to sharpen and the lazy and casual temperament of his body faded away, and he began to reveal his sharpness. The air trembled slightly, and the ancient sword behind him began to hum. It was as if it had sensed the changes in its master's body, and a wave of joy spread out from it. After a long while, Li Ling took a deep breath. The sharpness in his eyes disappeared as he bowed deeply to Ling Xiao. Thank you for your guidance, young Master Ling. It turns out that I've been on the wrong path all this while. I can't break through because I have fear in my heart. How can I be considered a pure sword cultivator if I have fear in my heart? How can I love the sword when I love wine and alchemy Dao? The only one who can defeat myself is myself. Not a mere medicinal pill. From today onwards, I'm no longer Old Man Three Absolutes. I'm Heavenly Sword Li Ling. Li Ling enunciated each word clearly. His body was ramrod straight, and the sharpness in his eyes was unparalleled. It was as if he was starting to be reborn. Furthermore, there was an aura surging on his body. That was a kind of heaven-man unity, about to merge with heaven and earth. Young Master Ling, I don't need this sword heart pill. Within 3 days, I'll definitely be heaven-man unity and break through to heaven-man realm. Li Ling said with a faint smile, his face filled with strong confidence. No, you need it. Ling Xiao smiled slightly and handed the sword heart pill to Li Ling. It's indeed impressive that you can think clearly. But this sword heart pill can give you unimaginable benefits. Take it. I look forward to your glory after exiting seclusion, Elder Li. This sword heart pill could not only cleanse Li Ling's heart of the sword, but more importantly, it could awaken his heavenly sword bloodline. Thinking of the horror of the heavenly sword bloodline, Ling Xiao's heart was also filled with anticipation. It was just that he did not say it out loud. Unimaginable benefits? Li Ling's eyes also revealed a trace of anticipation. He took it and nodded solemnly. Yes, Saint. This change of address also meant that Li Ling acknowledged his identity as the longevity sect's guardian elder. Li Ling thought for a moment, took out a token from his storage bag, and handed it to Ling Xiao. Saint, this is my Ling family's Taibai token. If you have any needs in the capital, you can go to Taibai restaurant to find the Li family. They'll definitely help you. After I come out of seclusion, I'll look for you. Ling Xiao smiled slightly and did not refuse accepting it. All right. The Taibai token was as warm as jade in his hand and looked very simple. On it was the back of a swordsman who was flying in the air with his sword pointing at the world. On the back there were the words Taibai. Take this minor soul refining technique and cultivate it well. I hope you can surpass spiritual master Chun Yang and the grand tutor. Ling Xiao took out a secret manual and handed it to Master Jiao Mu. Minor soul refining technique. Master Jiao Mu was a little confused. He took it and flipped it open. Instantly, his entire body began to tremble with excitement. It's a secret technique to cultivate mental strength? Thank you, Master. Thank you, Master. Master Jiao Mu was beaming as if he had received a treasure. This secret technique to raise mental strength was incomparably precious. Even spiritual Master Chun Yang and the Grand Tutor did not have it. Ling Xiao gave it to him so casually, making him feel very lucky. Master, there's a portion of the materials you asked me to collect last time. However, the 5-element spirit seeds are too precious, and there aren't many of them in the capital. However, I heard that there will be a yin-yang spirit seed being auctioned in the Grand Wilderness Auction House in a few days. Master, you can go take a look. I'll definitely help you get it. Master Jiao Mu handed a storage bag to Ling Xiao. It was filled with all kinds of spiritual herbs and treasures that Ling Xiao had asked him to collect. Ling Xiao glanced at it and revealed a hint of satisfaction. Very good, well done. Yin-yang spirit seed? I'll go take a look myself. Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat when he heard about the yin-yang spirit seed. This was because the next step of the heaven-devouring secret technique required the yin-yang spirit seed. This was good news for him. Next, Li Ling would prepare to go into seclusion to break through, and Master Jiao Mu would stand guard for him. Ling Xiao bade farewell to the two and left the elixir hall. Chapter 159. Ling Xiao left the spiritual medicine hall and walked along the street while thinking. He found out from Shi Wuxin that the people from the Wan Shou sect had arrived at the capital city. Without a doubt, the capital city was targeting Ling Xiao. Although they had not found out the cause of Elder Kuan-Shi's death, it was only a matter of time before they found out about the Changsun sect and Ling Xiao. After all, Elder Korenchi's death was the center of attention. Although the disciples of the Changsun sect were ordered to keep their mouths shut, it was inevitable that they would leak the news. Moreover, Shi Wuxin had also died at Ling Xiao's hands. The news would spread to the capital city soon. By then, there would be a battle between the Wanshou sect and Ling Xiao. He Qing, a celestial realm elite? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, revealing a glimmer of light. Even if the Wanshou sect did not come looking for him, Ling Xiao decided to strike first to gain the upper hand. Moreover, he was sure that the leader of the Wanshou sect, He Qing, was a genuine celestial realm elite. Ling Xiao was still not a match for a celestial realm elite, so he had to plan carefully. First, I have to find out where the people from the Wanshou sect are now, Ling Xiao thought to himself. Unknowingly, Ling Xiao had walked along the street for a long time. There were many restaurants on both sides of the street, and the shops were bustling with people. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he saw a very grand restaurant in front of him. Taibai Restaurant? Is it the property of the Li family? The corner of Ling Xiao's mouth twitched as he remembered the Taibai token in his pocket. He smiled and walked toward Taibai Restaurant. Was there a better place to gather information than a restaurant? Taibai Restaurant looked very grand, much better than the restaurants around it. The people who ate here were either rich or noble, so he should be able to gather a lot of useful information. Sir, please come in. As soon as he saw Ling Xiao walking towards Taibai Restaurant, the eyes of the waiter at the entrance lit up, and he hurriedly invited Ling Xiao in. Sir, our Taibai Restaurant is the best restaurant in the capital city. We have everything from flying in the sky, swimming in the water, and crawling on the ground. We also have many delicacies made from precious demon beasts. We guarantee that you will be satisfied. The waiter smiled as he led Ling Xiao into the restaurant. The interior of Taibai Restaurant was very spacious. Hundreds of tables and chairs were placed in the hall on the first floor. At the moment, the hall was filled with guests. Everyone was toasting each other, and it was very noisy. On the far right, there was a staircase that led to the second floor. There were 2 Dragon Tiger realm martial artists guarding the staircase. Their eyes were like hawks as they indifferently scanned the people in the hall. I want to go to the second floor. Ling Xiao looked at the waiter and smiled. Second floor? The waiter was taken aback, and a trace of embarrassment appeared in his eyes. With a bitter smile, he said, "Young master, the second floor is generally reserved for people with status in the capital city. They are all regular customers of Taibai Restaurant. Ordinary people can't go up. Young master, you." The meaning of the waiter's words was self-evident. Ling Xiao was dressed in ordinary clothes. Although he had an extraordinary aura, he did not seem to be someone of high status, so he could not go up to the second floor. Your Taibai Restaurant really has a lot of rules. Is this okay? Ling Xiao smiled faintly and took out the Taibai token. After seeing the Taibai token, the waiter's expression changed instantly. So it's the second master's distinguished guest. I was blind. Young master, follow me. With this, of course you can go up to the second floor. The waiter's face was instantly filled with an attentive and even flattering smile. He led Ling Xiao to the second floor without any obstruction. The second floor looked much quieter. There were only a dozen tables and chairs, and there were also some private rooms. At the moment, there were many people sitting in them. However, from the way they dressed, they were indeed rich and respectable. Moreover, they spoke elegantly and softly. They would not disturb others. Ling Xiao chose a seat by the window and casually ordered some wine and dishes. The waiter respectfully retreated. Outside the window, the sun was shining brightly, and there was a clear, small lake. The slightly cold wind blew, clearing Ling Xiao's mind and making him feel much more comfortable. His mental strength spread out and enveloped the entire Taibai Restaurant. In the restaurant, Ling Xiao could clearly hear the conversations of the people there. Behind the hall on the first floor, 7 to 8 burly men in martial arts attire were sitting together. At this moment, they seemed to have drunk too much. All of them were flushed and chatting loudly. Did you know? I heard that the little princess, Xia Hongxiu, came back from the Sun Moon Star sect today. Rank 5 Tiger Beast pulled the carriage and Vermilion Bird camp guards. That's called imposing. TSK. The little princess is back? I heard that she was accepted as a disciple by an elder of the Sun Moon Star sect. Now she is the last disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect. At the age of 16, she has already reached the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. This kind of talent is simply shocking. Why did she come back? I heard that it's to participate in the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom's sacrificial ceremony. However, I heard that there is another reason. Oh, what's the reason? Do you know the Demon King? The one who was known as one of the 2 great geniuses of the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. Ling Zhen? Demon King Ling Zhen? Who doesn't know? It is said that he and the king were good brothers when they were young. They trained together and experienced many dangers together. Later on, he played a crucial role in the king's ascension to the throne. Therefore, after the king ascended to the throne, Ling Zhen was also given the title of Demon King Ling Zhen. Didn't the Demon King suddenly disappear 3 years ago? What does the little princess's return have to do with the Demon King Ling Zhen? You don't know this, right? Demon King Ling Zhen only has one son, and that's the infamous good-for-nothing Ling Xiao. The little princess and Ling Xiao were born on the same day, same month, and same year, so His Majesty and Ling Zhen had already arranged for them to be betrothed to each other. They'll get married when they're 16. What? The little princess wants to marry that big trash, Ling Xiao? What ability does he have? I heard that big trash, Ling Xiao, was born with blocked veins. It is very difficult for him to cultivate. He will be a cripple his entire life. 3 years ago, after the Demon King disappeared, Ling Xiao was sent to a small sect. In fact, he was banished. Isn't that right? Ling Xiao is such a trash. How could the little princess be willing to marry him? Therefore, I heard that the little princess returned to the capital this time to annul the engagement with Ling Xiao. Annul the engagement? Fuck, this is a huge humiliation. No matter how much of a trash Ling Xiao is, he won't be able to take it, right? So what if he can't take it? He is still in that small sect. There is no Demon King Ling Zhen backing him up. What can he do? If he doesn't agree, I'm afraid he will lose his life. I heard that even the king has silently agreed to this matter. I remember now. The Ling family's year-end competition is in 3 days. It is said that the Ling family's great elder, Ling Yunxiang, intends to let his grandson, Ling Tianxi, inherit the title of Demon King Ling Zhen. Therefore, he spread the news in advance. As long as he can obtain first place in the year-end competition, he will be able to inherit the title of Demon King Ling Zhen. The king has also agreed to this matter. Big trash Ling Xiao is too pitiful. Not only will the engagement be annulled, even the title of Demon King Ling Zhen will be snatched away. What can he do? Who asked him to be a trash? Say the Demon King Ling Zhen is so talented. How could he give birth to such a trash son? Although that Ling Tianxi isn't one of the 5 young masters of the capital, he is still at the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. It is said that it is very likely that he will break through to the master stage within 3 years. When that time comes, he will be the 6th young master of the capital. Chapter 160. Annulling the marriage and taking away my right to inherit the title of Demon Monarch? I didn't expect to encounter such a ridiculous situation. Ling Xiao's lips curled into a cold smile. If he was still the useless Ling Xiao, he would be powerless and could only die in humiliation. No one would sympathize with him. However, he was not the useless Ling Xiao from 3 years ago. He was the sky-devouring supreme Ling Xiao. Since I've obtained your physical body, I'll help you solve these problems. However, even if the marriage is annulled, it will not be Xia Hongxiu's turn. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Despite his calm state of mind, he could not help but feel a surge of anger. Xia Hongxiu was a genius, the most beloved princess of the great wilderness king. At the same time, she was a true disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect. Ling Xiao could understand why she did not want to marry him. However, her mistake was that she had chosen the most humiliating way to annul her engagement with Ling Xiao. Which man in the world could tolerate this? Now that the demon monarch was missing, Ling Xiao could not even protect himself. Even if he was 16 years old, Ling Xiao would not dare to ask Xia Hongxiu to marry him. However, Xia Hongxiu was undeniably arrogant. She was so arrogant that she did not care about Ling Xiao's life and death. If Ling Xiao was really the useless Ling Xiao of the past, he would have vomited 3 liters of blood and died from shame and anger. As for Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi, they dared to touch the title of demon monarch and tried to harm Ling Xiao time and time again. In Ling Xiao's heart, Ling Yunxiang and Ling Tianxi were no different from dead people. 3 days later, it would be their time of death. Ling Xiao's mind spun, and he quickly suppressed all his emotions and calmed down. At this moment, he also heard about the whereabouts of the Wanshou sect. It turned out that the Wanshou sect did not hide their tracks. Instead, they came to the royal capital in the name of bringing their disciples to cultivate and experience the local customs of the great wilderness ancient kingdom. Although the ancient kingdom of desolation was surprised by the arrival of the Wanshou sect, they still arranged for them to stay at the relay station and served them well. In the past few days, the disciples of the Wanshou sect had been wandering around the royal capital, exchanging pointers with the younger generation of the royal capital, and making a name for themselves. The 5 princes of the royal capital were the 5 grandmasters below the age of 30 in the royal capital. They were the representatives of the younger generation of the Great Desolation ancient kingdom. Moreover, there were rumors that the disciples of the Wanshou sect were about to challenge the royal capital's 5 princes. Ling Xiao also heard a piece of useful information from the crowd. Among the disciples of the Wanshou sect, there was a true disciple named Shi Tianluo. He had the heavenly serpent bloodline, and was extremely talented. He was considered an expert in the Grandmaster realm. Snake descent. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. This Shi Tianluo was Shi Tian Xian's brother. Once the news of Ling Xiao killing Shi Tian Xian reached Shi Tianluo's ears, the two of them would definitely have a battle to the death. Ling Xiao was already thinking about how to get rid of these people from the Wanshou sect. "Brother, may I sit here?" Just as Ling Xiao was thinking, a hearty voice rang out and interrupted his thoughts. Ling Xiao raised his head and saw a young man in his 20s. He was dressed in white and had a handsome face and a slender figure. He exuded a gentle aura and had a faint smile on his face. Ling Xiao could also see that although this young man was only 21 or 22 years old, he was already at level 9 of the Dragon Tiger realm. "I'm Li Chengfeng from the Li family. The owner of the Tai Bai token in your hand is my second uncle." The young man smiled and explained. "So it's brotherly. Please take a seat." Ling Xiao nodded and said, "Pardon me for asking, but this Tai Bai token belongs to my uncle. May I know why you have it?" Li Chengfeng asked with a smile. Ling Xiao said, "I have some connections with Master Jiaomu. I met old man Sanju in the spiritual medicine hall. We hit it off, so he gave me the Tai Bai token." The corner of Li Chengfeng's mouth twitched. The Tai Bai token was not some cabbage. Why would Li Ling give it to this young man, just because they hit it off? The Tai Bai token was the most honorable symbol of the Li family. In the entire Li family, only the head of the Li family and Li Ling each had one. Li Chengfeng was very curious why Li Ling would give such a precious token to a young man. However, Li Ling and Master Jiaomu were indeed close. This young man should be Master Jiaomu's nephew. So that's how it is. "My apologies. How should I address you?" Li Chengfeng asked curiously. Li Chengfeng was curious about Ling Xiao's identity. "Ling Xiao." Ling Xiao smiled faintly. "Ling Xiao." Li Chengfeng was stunned. Then a strange expression appeared on his face. After all, Ling Xiao was too famous. Almost everyone in the capital knew that the Demon King's son, Ling Xiao, was a famous piece of trash. And this young man in front of him was also called Ling Xiao. He looked to be 15 or 16 years old. Could it be? Li Chengfeng shook his head and laughed in his heart. The young man in front of him had an extraordinary aura, and his cultivation had reached the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm. How could he be the big piece of trash Ling Xiao? Ling Xiao seemed to have seen through Li Chengfeng's thoughts. "Brother Li, you guessed right. I am the Ling Xiao you're thinking of." Cough cough. Li Chengfeng coughed, a trace of shock in his eyes. "Brother, are you really the little prince of the Demon King's estate, that Ling Xiao?" This news was too shocking. If the people of the capital knew that the big piece of trash in their eyes had returned, And not only was he not a piece of trash, but he was also a talented young man. What kind of expression would they have? It is indeed me, Ling Xiao said calmly, not showing the slightest hint of displeasure. I'm sorry, Brother Ling. This news is just too shocking. A trace of apology appeared on Li Qingfeng's face. He smiled bitterly and said, everyone was still discussing whether or not Brother Ling would come back to participate in the Ling family's end-of-year competition. I didn't expect Brother Ling to really come back, and even have cultivation. However, why did Brother Ling have to come back and get involved in this mess? The little princess has also returned. In Li Qingfeng's opinion, Ling Zhao's talent was extraordinary for him to be able to break through to the third level of the spirit transformation realm. However, it was still too difficult for someone at the third level of the spirit transformation realm to compete with Ling Tianxi. Furthermore, Ling Xiao was not only facing Ling Tianxi, but also the proud daughter of heaven, Xia Hongxiu. What will come will come. Blindly avoiding it is not a good idea. Since I can't avoid it, why not face it calmly? Chapter 161. A look of admiration appeared on Qingfeng's face as he said, Brother Ling, you're really broad-minded. It's a pity that the world is ignorant, thinking that Brother Ling's martial arts talent has long been lost. However, they don't know that Brother Ling has been silently cultivating. Even if Brother Ling loses to Ling Tianxi, I still believe that Brother Ling will definitely become a true expert in the future. Obviously, even Qingfeng didn't think that Ling Xiao could win against Ling Tianxi in the year-end competition. After all, the difference between the two was too great. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and didn't explain anything. The two slowly conversed. Qingfeng was the young master of the Li family, so he was very clear about the situation in the capital. Ling Xiao obtained a lot of useful information from him. Moreover, Qingfeng was an honest person and felt like old friends at first sight. He didn't hide anything from Ling Xiao, which made Ling Xiao have a good impression of him. Not long after, a pretty maid in a green dress ran up to the second floor panting. When she saw Qingfeng, her eyes instantly lit up. Young master, so you're here. Master asked me to call you back. He said there's an urgent matter. The pretty maid looked innocent and cute, her big eyes watery as she spoke to Qingfeng. Then she looked curiously at Ling Xiao. Father is looking for me? Qingfeng was slightly stunned, then looked apologetically at Ling Xiao. Brother Ling, I feel like old friends at first sight and can't wait to talk through the night. However, my father has something to discuss, so I have to excuse myself. Brother Ling, you can stay in Tai-Bai restaurant for the next 2 days. When I'm done, I'll come and talk to you again. No problem, Brother Li, go ahead. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Qingfeng got up and hurriedly left with the pretty maid. At this moment, it was already evening. The number of people in Tai-Bai restaurant gradually increased. Even the second floor was filled with people. Outside the window, the sun was setting in the west, scattering a golden afterglow. It shone on the small lake outside the window, making it look very beautiful. Ling Xiao drank alone and appeared to be very carefree. The wine was the Tai-Bai drunk wine that was unique to the Tai-Bai restaurant. It was said that this Tai-Bai drunk wine was brewed from the Li family's ancestral recipe, and was one of the most famous wines in the royal capital. The Tai-Bai drunk wine that Ling Xiao was drinking was specially ordered by Li Qingfeng. It was a 50-year-old Tai-Bai drunk wine with a strong aroma that lingered in one's mouth. It also contained traces of the essence of spiritual herbs. Traces of warmth flowed through one's body, making one feel indescribably comfortable. Right at this moment, a young master in an embroidered jade robe appeared. His appearance was rather handsome, but his lips were very thin, his eyes were long and narrow, and his face revealed an arrogant expression. He had the bearing of someone who lived like a prince. He held a folding fan in his hand and walked up to the second floor with 2 pretty maids following behind him. The brocade-clothed youth looked around and saw that the seats were already filled with people. He immediately frowned. Young Master Chen, the second floor is full. Why don't you wait for a while? The waiter who led the youth in embroidered clothes oversaid carefully. Pa. A crisp sound rang out. The youth in embroidered clothes gave the waiter a big slap, directly slapping half of the waiter's face until it was swollen. Blind bastard, you dare to make this young master wait? Do you believe that I won't tear down your Tai-Bai restaurant? The youth in embroidered clothes scolded with a cold smile on his face. His gaze swept across the people on the second floor. He knew most of them, and they were all people of status in the royal capital. However, when his gaze swept past Ling Xiao, a cold smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. I want that seat. Tell him to scram. I'll take care of all the dishes. The youth in embroidered clothes pointed at Ling Xiao and said arrogantly. Ling Xiao knew this waiter. It was the waiter who led him here. He stood up from the ground and covered half of his face with his hand. He smiled bitterly and said, Young Master Chen, that young master is also an important guest. The young master instructed us to treat him well. Why don't I help you change to another private room? Young Master Chen, why don't you come and sit with me? Young Master Chen, come to my place. It's a blessing of 3 lifetimes to be able to see young Master Chen. That's right. Young Master Chen's brother is one of the 5 young masters of the royal capital. Young Master Chen is also a dragon among men. The youth in embroidered clothes clamor immediately attracted the attention of the people on the second floor. Immediately, someone stood up and smiled politely at the youth in embroidered clothes. Even those who did not stand up nodded their heads in greeting. The youth in embroidered clothes was called Chen Zitao. He was the son of the great general. Chen Zitao's brother, Chen Fengdao, was one of the 5 young masters of the royal capital. He was a famous young martial scholar, and was the best among his peers. Regardless of family background or status, Chen Zitao was enough to make people value him and even flatter him. However, only Ling Xiao was still sitting there and drinking. His expression was indifferent as he looked out of the window. He had no intention of looking here. The anger in Chen Zitao's heart suddenly burned. He was already in a bad mood today. He was scolded by his father because he did not cultivate seriously. He wanted to come out and relax, but there was no seat for him in Tai-Bai restaurant. What was even more abominable was that this youth did not quickly and respectfully give up his seat after hearing his name. What a bastard! No, I want that seat. Chen Zitao insisted. The coldness in his eyes became more and more intense. The waiter was on the verge of tears. He could not afford to offend the guests on both sides. He could only suffer in the middle. However, Chen Zitao did not continue to make things difficult for the waiter. Instead, he walked towards Ling Xiao. Brat, give up your seat. These dishes are on me. Scram. Chen Zitao walked in front of Ling Xiao and said coldly. You. Ling Xiao slowly turned his head. His eyes revealed a trace of indifference. Who do you think you are? How dare you ask this young master to give up his seat to you? Chen Zitao's face instantly turned gloomy. The surrounding people also looked at Ling Xiao in surprise. This youth was really bold. He actually dared to speak to Chen Zitao like that? It had to be known that Chen Zitao was not a kind person. He had bullied many people in the capital. If he was unhappy, he might even break the youth's legs and throw him out. Everyone whispered to each other, and their gazes towards Ling Xiao began to show signs of sympathy. Very good. Chen Zitao sneered and said, This is the first time someone has dared to scold me. Kid, you have guts. Now I've changed my mind. Kneel down and kowtow 100 times. Then get lost and I'll spare your life. Otherwise. Chen Zitao's voice was gloomy. The threat was self-evident. I'll give you 2 choices. Either kowtow 100 times and get lost, or I'll break all your limbs and throw you out. Ling Xiao looked at Chen Zitao indifferently. He also felt a bit helpless. There were many hedonistic young masters in the capital. This Chen Zitao looked like he was only at the 7th or 8th layer of the spirit transformation realm. But he was so arrogant. Chapter 162. P.S. Muyu came back from overtime today and felt sore all over. She was dizzy and had a bad cold, so this chapter was only written now. Sorry, brothers. Chen Zitao's expression instantly became extremely cold. His eyes flashed with killing intent as he sneered. Very good. This is the first time someone has dared to speak to me like this. I'm very curious, where does a brat at the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm like you get the confidence to speak to me like this? Boom. A powerful aura emanated from Chen Zitao's body, and a cold aura locked onto Ling Xiao. Brat, open your eyes a little wider next time. Not everyone is someone you can afford to offend. Chen Zitao's right hand reached out toward Ling Xiao. His fingers emitted a faint silver light that was as sharp as an eagle's claw. Ling Xiao's expression didn't change. He picked up a cup of wine and slowly tasted it. It was as if he didn't care about Chen Zitao's attack at all. Seeing that Chen Zitian's hand was about to reach for Ling Xiao's head, Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a hint of sharpness. He opened his mouth and shot out a white water arrow. Bang! The air trembled slightly, and the water arrow exploded. Chen Zitao felt a pain in his palm, as if he had been bitten by a poisonous snake. His expression changed drastically, and his palm had already turned a little green. Cold Truchi, who the hell are you? Chen Zitao's expression was very ugly, and there was a hint of dread in his eyes. Only now did he realize that the youth before him wasn't as simple as he had thought. Ling Xiao faintly smiled and didn't answer him. Instead, he gently sent out a palm that was surrounded by a golden light. In an instant, the golden light shrouded Chen Zitao. The seemingly gentle palm actually exploded with an incomparably ferocious force, like the roar of a mountain or a tsunami. Boom! Chen Zitao let out a miserable scream as his body flew out. He coughed out a mouthful of blood, and several of his ribs were broken. In the end, he fell heavily to the ground. This was also because Ling Xiao had held back. Otherwise, with Ling Xiao's strength that was comparable to a vicious beast's, one palm would have been enough to turn Chen Zitao into a bloody mist. When you're being arrogant in the future, open your eyes. Not everyone is someone you can afford to offend. This young master loves to teach you rich second generations a lesson. Now, are you going to roll out of Tai Bai restaurant yourself, or do you want me to throw you out of the window? Ling Xiao stood up and said with a smile. Everyone in the surroundings revealed an incomparably shocked expression. Ling Xiao looked like he was only at the 3rd level of the spirit transformation realm, but he was able to seriously injure Chen Zitao, who was at the 9th level of the spirit transformation realm. This kind of talent and combat strength was simply terrifying. But Chen Zitao's older brother was Chen Fengdao, one of the royal capital's 5 princes. Not only was his talent extraordinary, but his heart of martial arts was also extremely firm. He was known as a madman. Although Chen Fengdao's cultivation wasn't the highest among the 5 young masters, he was definitely the most difficult to deal with. Although Ling Xiao's combat strength was not bad, compared to Chen Fengdao, there was still a huge gap. Wasn't he afraid that Chen Fengdao would come back and settle the score with him? Chen Zitao got up from the ground and coughed violently. His eyes were filled with coldness as he said, "Good boy, I was wrong. Do you dare to leave your name?" Ling Xiao sneered and said, "What? Do you want to threaten me?" Chen Zitao let out a sinister laugh and said, "Boy, you should know that there is always someone better than you. Although I'm not your opponent, there are many people in the royal capital who are stronger than you. This young master will remember today's matter, and will definitely repay you in the future. I think you're still not being honest." Ling Xiao faintly smiled and grabbed at Chen Zitao with his palm. A faint golden light spread out, and emitted a trace of sharp fluctuation. Chen Zitao's expression changed greatly. This grab contained a terrifying aura that made his scalp tingle. He immediately roared, "Boy, you dare to make a move against me? My brother will definitely not let you go." Boom. Ling Xiao's expression didn't change. His palm came through the air and instantly grabbed Chen Zitao's neck. This scared the 2 maids that Chen Zitao had brought. "Your brother, Chen Fengdao? I really want to fight with him. But now, it seems like you didn't choose to scram. Since that's the case, I'll send you on your way." Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His palm was like steel, squeezing Chen Zitao until his face turned red. There was even a trace of fear in his eyes. Boom. In the next moment, Ling Xiao swung his hand and instantly Chen Zitao's body flew out horizontally. He passed through the window on the 2nd floor, and was directly thrown into the lake outside. "Boy, just you wait. I won't let you go." Chen Zitao was soaked in ice water and his entire body shivered. He glared at Ling Xiao with hatred, and left behind a vicious sentence before turning around and running away. He had already secretly remembered Ling Xiao's appearance, and was determined to teach this boy a lesson. How dare he not take him, the second young master Chun, seriously? He was simply tired of living. Ling Xiao didn't take it to heart. He glanced indifferently at Chen Zitao's two maids, causing them to tremble in fear. However, Ling Xiao didn't make things difficult for them, and allowed them to leave. The waiter who had been beaten black and blue walked up and smiled bitterly. He lowered his voice and said, "Young Master Ling, you have to be careful in the future." That second young Master Chun is famous in the royal capital for seeking revenge for the smallest grievance. You've humiliated him today, so he definitely won't let this matter rest. The waiter was secretly pleased that Ling Xiao had beaten up Chen Zitao, but he didn't dare to show it on his face. No worries. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He didn't take it to heart that he had beaten up a spoiled brat like Chen Zitao. The surrounding diners all looked at Ling Xiao with different expressions. They were all whispering to each other. Some were sympathetic, some were gloating, and some were indifferent. Ling Xiao didn't care about the gazes of the bystanders. He leisurely finished his Tai Bai drunk and got up to leave. At this moment, the sky was gradually darkening. Tai Bai brothel had already prepared a room for Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao didn't stand on ceremony and directly stayed in Tai Bai brothel. In the room, Ling Xiao sat cross-legged and slowly adjusted his breathing. His entire body's energy had been adjusted to a perfect state. When the moon was high in the sky and the full moon outside the window spilled a clear and cold light, Ling Xiao opened his eyes. Ti. Lightning flashed in the air. Ling Xiao's eyes were dignified and mysterious. There was a golden light flowing in them, but they returned to normal after a moment. Ling Xiao jumped off the bed and retracted his aura. His entire body was like a stone, without any signs of life. Ling Xiao changed into a set of black night clothes and silently slipped out of the window. After finding out the whereabouts of the Wan Shou sect during the day, Ling Xiao prepared to investigate at night. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.